Trustee Rocket Martin,
Present.
Trustee Galvin,
Alvin.
Gavin,
Present.
and Trustee Doyle. Brother Vice President, a quorum has been established.
Thank you. We now come to the part of approval of agenda. Is there a motion on the floor to approve the agenda?
I so move.
A motion has been made by Secretary Triplett. Is there a second?
I second.
And it has been seconded by Trustee Rocket. Is there any questions or comments? Therefore being none. Secretary Triplett, can you please call for the roll?
Vice President Bowens.
Yes.
Secretary Triplett, yes. Trustee Rocket Martin, Trustee Gavin,
Yes.
motion carried.
Thank you. We now come to the part of our board norms. The board norms are as follow. Pausing before responding. Sorry, the board norms are: we will treat each other with respect. We will listen to learn. We will refrain from side conversations. We will use our time wisely, starting and ending our meetings on time. We will use our time wisely, starting and ending our meetings on time. We will challenge ideas and not people. We will ask questions when in doubt. There will be no surprises at the board table. We will practice the 7 norms of collaboration, which are as follow. Pausing, paraphrasing, posing questions, putting ideas on the table, providing data, paying attention to self and others, and presuming positive intention. We are now at the point where we have public comment on agenda items. Is there any comments on the agenda? Did you fill out the form? Sorry. Sorry, I'm gonna have to read the statement, so please forgive me. The Benton Harbor Area School Board of Education recognizes the value of public comment on educational issues and the importance of allowing members of the public to express themselves on district matters. Today, there are 2 areas for comment on the agenda of which you may decide to speak and when to speak: public comment on agenda items and open public comment. We request that each interested participant complete a public participation form using legible writing to ensure that the responses are appropriate and properly focused. Per Benton Harbor Area School Bylaw 0167.3, which governs board participation. At board meetings, we request that you preface your comments with your name, address, and group affiliations when appropriate. Each statement may be made by a participant shall be limited to 3 minutes duration. And per our bylaws, no participant may speak more than one at the same topic until any other person have had the opportunity to speak on the topic. Participants may remove their face masks when addressing the board. Participants shall direct the comments to the board and not the staff or other participants. The board will listen, take comments and questions under the advisement, and not respond at this time. I, as Vice President, will refer your questions to the Superintendent for research and response. Please ensure that your public participation form includes your contact information as requested. If you have any questions for the board or executive team that require follow-up, please email those directly to natalie.singer@bhas.org. And before you go, can the record please show that Madam President did enter the building at 6:13, and I am giving her back her seat. Thank you.
All right, thank you to Vice President Bowens for chairing in my absence. I did give him a heads up yesterday that I may be about 10 or 15 minutes late today. Was there anyone present for public comment?
Yes.
All right, you have the floor.
Good evening. Can you hear me? Good evening, Board of Education for Benton Harbor Area Schools and Central Admin. I am Ashley Williams. I reside at 125 Parker Avenue. I am commenting on agenda item for my resignation. And I'm a little nervous because I wasn't expecting to speak today, but I feel compelled to have to speak on my behalf for my namesake, I resigned on September 17. After it was a hard decision, but it's a decision that I actually made around the beginning of the month because we have an ELA program at our school that was carefully established with the support of the Michigan multi-tiered systems of supports. And so I've been helping to create a comprehensive ELA system for intervention and last year for the core literacy block, which included 90 minutes instruction at the student's instructional level. And so we engaged in walk to read or what I need groups as a flipped MTSS model because 80% of our children need intervention and we don't have enough interventionists. And so our core teachers were tasked with taking on small groups at the grade level that students tested at. We experienced success on the in-program assessments last year. We had a 4% increase on the M-STEP, which might not seem like a lot, but most districts are actually declining in proficiency for the M-STEP. And I have disaggregated the data for all the schools in Berrien County as ISD for third grade for the 2023 to 2024 school year, and all Black children at every single school district where Black children are present are failing the M-STEP at mass rates, less than 20% proficient, and it's covered up because all the white kids that are performing proficient mask their scores and it levels it out. And so we were hopeful that because we had that 4% increase that we have not experienced in quite some time, we experienced 4% increase instead of decline. We were hopeful that we could come back and do better this year. And so we had a detailed plan to refine and improve our systems, which included coaching to teachers who were not as comfortable with our programs and for doing a all hands on deck approach for reading. So everybody in our building was planned to teach a group for reading or support reading so that we could have massive gains, which might have looked like doing 2 lessons per day to catch kids up because we have kids coming in at second and third grade that are reading at kindergarten and first grade level, too many of them. And so if you just do what's prescribed, 1 lesson a day, there's not going to be a huge jump on that M-STEP when you got a third grader testing at first or kindergarten and they're gaining 1 year of skills. And so we need that 90 minutes of sustained learning at their level to catch them up. So at the beginning of the school year, before it started, I went into my building in early August, started preparing my class for kids that I plan to teach intervention to. I worked for free many days before school started. When we came back to school, we got a list of non-negotiables, which included teachers doing centers in the class to reach all kids in the classrooms and no pullout for intervention. So if teachers are teaching centers in the classroom, that effectively equals to a group, maybe 5 groups in that teacher's class, and maybe 15 minutes of instruction, explicit instruction a day for kids who actually need 150 minutes or more a day. And I took notes so I don't get confused. Our universal literacy screener, Ames Web, which we use to diagnose kids to place in their intervention. Is my clock going down? 15 seconds. Oh, all right. I'm gonna skip past some stuff. So when I realized that my job was actually obsolete because these changes were happening, being an academic interventionist, being the MDT coordinator, I realized that with these changes, there was no place for me. And so I was wondering if my job was going to be eliminated. And so I made the decision to depart during that time. I got an opportunity to teach in my children's school doing the same thing. And so I accepted. I informed my principal of my 2 weeks notice on September 9th, but I didn't inform HR. Now, I'm not sure if you all would like me to stop talking, if there's somebody else that wants to public comment, or if I can sit down and come back up and restart.
We would like you to wrap up your comment.
Okay, so I didn't give a 2 weeks notice to the HR department like I probably should have, but we were all under duress and stress, and I wasn't thinking to give a 2 weeks notice because the position at my children's school, the board sometimes votes on them here, so I thought it would just be a transfer. And so because I didn't give the 2 weeks notice, when I went to give my 2 weeks notice, Sheila Dorsey informed me that I need to restart that process. And I have cardiomyopathy. I'm in heart failure right now. I'm wearing a life vest. And so health-wise, I didn't think it was a good decision to engage in 2 more weeks of work, especially when they eliminated our academic interventionist jobs, and I wasn't sure what I would be doing for 2 weeks. And so I did leave that office, originally complying with that 2 weeks request, but when I went to the doctor, my symptoms were exacerbating and I could not do it. And so I did not give the official 2 weeks notice. Therefore, Sheila Dorsey decided that I'm not in good standing with the district, and she refused to recommend me for hire at my children's school, which is now affecting my namesake and it's affecting my livelihood because it looks like I just quit without notice, and I didn't do that. And so I would like to have gave an exit statement. On that agenda, it says I was given an exit statement interview invitation on 9/22. In my email for the school district or my personal email, there is no invitation. So I wrote an exit statement and resignation explanation, and I told Sheila Dorsey that she could share with the Board of Education. She had my consent. And so I would like, if it's possible, that you all can review that information and change your mind about the fact that I'm leaving the district not in good standing when I've been teaching and I've been dedicated in this district, in this community, my community where I graduated from and I gave my time from. I would like you to reconsider once you read that statement. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anyone else for public comment on agenda items? All right, hearing none, we'll proceed. Up next, we have, oh, you have the floor. I didn't see your hand. We're good. Did you hear this? Were you here for the statement?
No.
Do you need us to read it to you, or are you okay with making your comment?
Am I okay to make my comment?
Would you like me to read the public comment statement
Yeah,
to
go ahead.
you? Okay, I don't have to. If you need, I can, real quick.
Go ahead.
Okay. The Ben Harbor Area Schools Board of Education recognizes the value of public comment on educational issues and the importance of allowing members of the public to express themselves on district matters. Today, there are 2 areas for comment on the agenda of which you may decide when to speak: public comment on agenda items and open public comment. We request that each interested participant complete a public participation form using legible writing to ensure their responses are appropriate and properly focused. Per Benton Harbor Area Schools Bylaw 0167.3, which governs board participation at board meetings, we request that you preface your comments with your name, address, and group affiliation when appropriate. Each statement made by a participant shall be limited to 3-minute duration, and per our bylaws, no participant may speak more than once on the same topic until any other persons have had the opportunity to speak on that topic. Participants may remove their masks when addressing the board. Participants shall direct all comments to the board and not to staff or other participants. The board will listen, take comments and questions under advisement and not respond at this time. I, as president, will refer questions to the superintendent for research and response. Please ensure that your public participation form includes your contact information as requested. If you have specific questions for the board or executive team that require follow-up, please email those directly to natalie.singer@bhas.org. You have the floor.
All right. My name Victoria Jones. I'm coming to y'all concerning of my granddaughter that goes here. Now she's in the 12th grade. I received a text on my phone stating that my granddaughter had to go to summer school. Okay? I come up here to put her into summer school. I was denied, saying she could not go to summer school. And I was like, well, I'm looking at the report card at Power School. Y'all don't send papers out no more. It got an F, F, F. That means you didn't pass. That's how I look at it. So I goes over there again. They told me make an appointment to come up here to see the acting superintendent. Which now this been going on for 2 weeks. Okay, when summer school started. I said, well, y'all sent a text to me. I'm going by the text that you sent. They turned around and said they sent everybody a text. I said, no, you don't. Because my nephew goes to school up here. He's number 4 in the state. He ain't getting no text to go to summer school. So don't play with me like that. All right, so I come up here. I had a meeting. I was up here this summer with the acting superintendent. And the other lady sat me down and said, okay, looked at my granddaughter's paperwork. They said, okay, we're going to let her go to summer school. She do need to take this class. But she can't go this week. Why? They kept out another week, okay? Then when she gets to summer school, I got to argue again with who y'all had the principal of summer school and the other lady, Miss Kyles. I had to argue with them again. You going back there, I said, look, I ain't coming to argue with y'all. I already been over y'all head. So guess what they did? They still did not put my granddaughter in the right proper class. Guess what? She comes here, go see her counselor. She gets no credit for summer school, and that's not fair. Y'all sent me that text. Yes, she wasn't doing what she's supposed to do, but y'all sent me, and I stood up to it and made my kid, that granddaughter of mine, come up here because I know an F is not a passing grade. Then y'all still fail to do what y'all supposed to do. And I can't hold this board accountable. I'm gonna hold y'all accountable for y'all letting these folks up here doing what they want to do and mistreating these kids up here. And then when the parents come up here, I get addressed, we ain't scared of you. That's not my name. That's not my name. My mama and daddy name me. And I'm not scared of you, and you ain't supposed to scared of me, but that is not my name. And I'm held, if you can call me and I can hold my grandchild accountable for what she done did, I got to be able to hold you the same accountable for what you're not doing and what you're getting paid to do. And I think it's unfair. And there's another thing, she a senior. Why y'all got these kids in class that ain't got no teachers? And you got these kids on the borderline of graduating and they need such and such class, but they can't take them right now. Come on, y'all. Who y'all hurt? Y'all hurt your own kind. That's what's wrong with us now as a race. We ain't gonna never get nowhere because we hurt ourselves. We hurt ourselves all the time. Somebody got to be held responsible. If I'm doing what I got to do, no, I don't feel like raising no more kids. I had 6 of mine in graduate, all 6 of mine in graduate. Now I'm raising 3 more grandkids. Y'all do right by my kids. If I can come up here and get a report card, if I can come up here and sit there with other kids that's out here playing sports, then I ain't got no kids up at this high school but my granddaughter. I ain't got no boy up here on no football team. If I can come and give my time and dedicate myself to everybody else's kid, I expect for y'all to do the same thing to y'all with what y'all want done to y'all kid.
Ma'am, please wrap up your comment.
My comment is wrapped up, but I'm not satisfied with she did not get a passing grade when y'all failed to let her go in that class. Y'all failed to send her to the right class. Then you got to argue with everybody. Why we got to argue when you supposed that she needed English? Put it in English. Why don't you put it in math? This only answer y'all can tell me is wrap up my comment.
So according to the public comment statement, we don't respond to you at this time. I, as president, will refer it to the superintendent. That's why I read it to you so you would know how it works.
I'm just letting y'all know.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you so much. Anyone else for public comment on agenda items? Did you fill out a public participation form so they can follow up with you? All right, so we're gonna move forward. Anyone else for public comment? All right, next on the agenda, we have approval of meeting minutes. The minutes that are on the agenda for approval today are regular session 8/12/2025, work session 8/26/2025, regular session 9/9/2025, and work session 9/23/2025. Is there a motion to approve the minutes as noted?
Madam President, I make a motion that we approve the meeting minutes that you just stated.
Is there a second or support? The motion has been made by Vice President Bowens and supported by Trustee Rocket Martin. Any questions, comments, or concerns at this time? Hearing none, in the absence of Secretary Triplett, Ms. Singer, can you please call the roll?
President Robinson,
Yes.
Vice President Bowens,
Yes.
Trustee Gavin,
Yes.
Trustee Rocket Martin,
Yes.
and Trustee Doyle.
Yes.
Motion carried.
All right, up next on the agenda, we have board business reminder. Our protocol as of 9/13/2022, all comments will be limited to 2 minutes per trustee per topic. Our first item of business, I'm assuming there were no changes made to the agenda, Vice President Bowens?
That is correct, Madam President.
Okay, so our first items of business under board business are 2 closed session. They will be back to back. The first closed session, the Board of Education may hold a closed session to consider materials such as written opinions of council, which are exempt from discussion by state or federal statute, reference policy 0167.2F. We have an opinion of council from Troon Law Firm regarding a matter that is pressing that he brought to my attention. And he's advised us some direction. He's also available in the event that we need to call him. The second closed session, the Board of Education will hold a closed session to consider a student disciplinary matter pursuant to the request of the parent under policy 0167.2B, MCL 15268, section 8B. At this particular time, I'd ask, is there a motion to end open session and enter closed session as noted?
Madam
so
President, I
moved.
make,
All right, I'll take Secretary Triplett as the motion. Vice President Bowens, would you like to
yes, I
lead the
second.
support? Okay. Any questions, comments, or concerns? All right, Secretary Triplett, can you please call the vote for the closed sessions as noted?
President Robinson,
Yes.
Vice President Bowens,
Yes.
Secretary Triplett, yes. Trustee Rocket Martin, Trustee Doyle,
Yes.
Trustee Gavin,
Yes.
motion carried.
All right, so for members of the public, as stated, we will be entering our closed session room. We will have two separate closed sessions as indicated. And then once those are complete, we will return to open session. You are more than welcome to stay here. I do not anticipate that we will be away too long. However, if we are in closed session longer than you have patience to wait, you're more than welcome to tune in live to see the remainder of the meeting. So at this particular time, I'm gonna end open session and enter closed session as of 6:31 PM.
It's our website.
All right, is there a motion to end closed session and return to open session?
I so move.
Is there a second or support?
Support.
The motion has been made by Secretary Triplett, supported by Vice President Bowens. Any questions, comments, or concerns?
Madam President,
Yes, sir.
I would like to make a, oh,
No questions? Okay. Secretary Triplett, please call the vote for returning to open session.
President Robinson,
Yes.
Vice President Bowens,
yes.
Secretary Triplett, yes. Trustee Rocket Martin, Trustee Gavin,
Yes.
Trustee Doyle, motion carried.
All right, at this time, I'll ask, is there a motion to move the proximity learning present and proposal and presentation directly after item C under board business so that our guest for this evening does not have to wait?
Yes, Madam President, I would support that, but I also would like for us to go to policy and discipline as a consent, also teaching and learning as a consent.
Okay, policy and discipline is already a consent.
Oh, okay, I'm sorry, I looked at that wrong.
We technically have to do the second reading, but we did a thorough first reading.
So we
So
have to
that's-
read, I guess my thing is.
I'm just gonna name what they are.
Okay, so, okay,
Mhm.
that makes sense. I was gonna say, you gotta go through every single one of those. Okay, then disregard that, Madam President.
Yep, I'm gonna do enough for it to count as a second reading, but not as much as I did the first time. All right, is there a second to amending the agenda as noted? Is there a support to moving the,
Support.
you were the motion.
Oh, my God.
Is there a support?
Support.
The motion has been made by Vice President Bowens and supported by Secretary Triplett. Any questions, comments, or concerns?
Just have a question about the teaching and learning. Well, if it's under consent, will we be able to ask questions about those proposals?
I thought we already discussed that, Madam President, in the work session.
Vice President,
Proposals?
these are
These are new.
These are new.
These are new.
So Vice President Bowens, are you fine with us just making the amendment as noted?
Yes, just, Madam President, I would remove my motion and we can go ahead and make it as noted.
Okay. Secretary Triplett, call the vote.
President Robinson.
Yes.
Vice President Bowens.
Yes,
Secretary Triplett, yes. Trustee Rocket Martin, Trustee Gavin,
Yes.
Trustee Doyle.
Yes.
Motion carried.
All right, up next on the agenda, we have item C, which is the student reinstatement. I would ask that Dr. Griffin please present staff report B1. Oh, what time did we come back? The open session.
7:55.
Okay, I just forgot to hit the gavel. Okay, go ahead. You have the floor, Dr. Griffin.
Yes, student reinstatement, October 14th, 2025. Reason for board consideration, policy requires the school board to review any student request for reinstatement. It's policy reference 5610. Strategic plan goal reference, learning environment. Benton Harbor area schools will develop, maintain, and implement with fidelity a multi-tiered system of support that enhances the culture and learning environment. Fact and analysis. Following an incident in September of 2025, said student DT was expelled from Benton Harbor area schools. After 150 days, the policy allows the parents or legal guardian to petition the school board for reinstatement. A petition of reinstatement was received from the said student's parents to be reinstated at Benton Harbor area schools following the 150 days. Per board policy, there was a reinstatement committee whose recommendation is as follows. Recommended actions that the Benton Harbor Area Schools Board of Education votes to approve the conditional reinstatement of the said student to the Benton Harbor Area Schools effective immediately with the following conditions. Student will only be allowed to return to a virtual learning environment, which is CAPE, and be assessed individually. Student will need to maintain a passing grade in all classes. Student will be required to participate in 31 in counseling sessions. Student will be required to provide a report from her outside counselor regarding progress. No reports of fighting, and student will be required to show success regarding her probation terms. If the student meets all these conditions through August 2026, she can reapply for a different placement. So approve for presentation to the Board of Education.
All righty, and this is staff report B1. I just want to note for the record, the original recommendation of the committee was January of 2026. However, after hearing the information, the board can support the recommended action with the adjustment of extending from January to June of 2026, and also the implementation of the, how did you phrase that again?
The recommended actions?
No, item 1,
Oh,
the independent
be assessed individually.
with the individual assessment. So at this time, I'll ask, is there a motion to approve staff report B1?
So move.
Support.
The motion has been made by Secretary Triplett and supported by Vice President Bowens. Any questions, comments, or concerns? Hearing none, Secretary Triplett.
President Robinson,
Yes.
Vice President Bowens.
Yes.
Secretary Triplett, yes. Trustee Rocket Martin, Trustee Gavin,
Yes.
Trustee Doyle.
Yes.
Motion carried.
All right, so with the amended agenda, up next, we will hear from Proximity Learning, our why, breaking down barriers to connect all learners with teachers they deserve. And this is attached to the Proximity Learning proposal, staff report S1. You have the floor. We appreciate your patience and being willing to wait until the end of the meeting, but you've never waited through one of our meetings before. So that's why we're doing you the courtesy of putting you first.
Mhm.
Well,
We use the mic for the virtual, but he can turn it on so it's sufficient for you.
What is the problem with this?
Oh, there we go. All right, thank you for having me, especially to Dr. Griffin, to President Robinson and other members of the board. My name is Dr. Michael Robinson. I work for Proximity Learning. I'm the Senior Vice President of Strategy. And one of the things is I've been with this company for almost a decade. And as you know, what we're going through across America is a teacher shortage. And if you look at that little slide, that little bubble 24, 25, we're down roughly 500,000 teachers nationwide, which approximately affects 15 million unserved scholars. So before I get in, I'm going to let you watch a quick video of why proximity learning works. This is Kansas City, Kansas, which is one of our clients that we've been working with for 3 years.
There are universities that are closing their school of education because individuals are not going into the field. Now we add the specialized areas and just isn't taking place. I knew as we continue to talk about teacher shortages, I knew I had a solution, a partner that would be able to come in and support our district. We looked at the need, not only a district need, but an international around teacher shortages. We recognize that we would have to, from the integrated model, and determine how we bring individuals in who will provide the outcomes for our students, but in a fashion. While we may have had long-term subs in the room, they weren't necessarily trained or certified teachers in math, in reading or science in those areas. Just by having that certified teacher who has been trained to teach those areas is going to increase the academic performance of our students, which will address the achievement gap that we've all been a part of since the pandemic.
Proximity offers us quality level teachers in the classroom that meet the state requirements. They coordinate with our curriculum, guaranteed viable curriculum, and ensure that students are getting exactly what they would get if they were in class with a regular in-person certified teacher.
BHAS developed a great student teaching, co-teaching model. I think the aspects of just individualized learning, as well as the aspects of use of technology, really help students. I am learning so much of just the different ways we use technology in the classrooms to assist student learning. We're pulling students out, we're differentiating the work. It's been really nice to either pull the high students out that need to be done extension activity, or to pull the low students out that just need an extra support.
I knew that this would be a partnership that I would absolutely continue to advocate for, just based upon the philosophy of what we and support that you typically don't get. Their customer service has been above and beyond. They have made themselves available to those who are actually boots on the ground and coming to the district, and they are in the classroom and they're responsive.
I feel that my son has been very successful in proximity learning and been able to advocate for himself. He's on the National Honor Society now to mention it.
Proximity continues to be aspirational for us, and I look forward to the continued partnership. Proximity learning.
All right. So one of the problems that we have in education right now, these are like 5 buckets. Some school districts have not had certified math teachers in over 2, 3, 4 years. Also, you have like a lot of non-certified teachers who are working in the field, who are emergency licensed, who cannot pass the practice exam. These are some of the things we see. Then we also have schools where their substitute rate is that high that they have to actually send kids to the gym and push seats together. And then some schools have said, okay, I'll use a product that's an asynchronous product where there's actually no teacher and the machine is just actually teaching the students, and we know where that ends up. And we also have a number of teachers who may have to teach a different type of class than what their teaching certification comes from. So one of the things that we're going to do at Proximity Learning, if you need a teacher to teach physics, I'm going to go out and find you a teacher that has a physics certification. If you need a teacher to teach algebra, I'm going to go out and find that teacher for you. If you need a teacher to teach Spanish, or you need a teacher for special education, that's what we do. So the thing is, colleges of education closing their doors, there's not enough teachers. You're competing with, let's just say, Chicago up the street for the same folks. This one district can offer a few more dollars than this one, say, hey, I'm gonna give you a $10,000 bonus. You may not be able to do that in order to get a teacher within your class, within your district. So you got to think outside of the box. I tell people, and I'm very honest with you, this is not the best solution. The best solution is if you can get a state certified teacher to walk through those doors and teach your students. This is another solution. This is an arrow in your quiver. So if I can't get an algebra teacher, I'm going to say, hey, let me farm that out for Proximity until I can get one, because the way we write our contracts is that you're not locked in. So if teacher X decides to come to your district and want to take that class, we hand the keys back to them. That's also within inside of your contract. Now what I want to do is just kind of show you what a classroom looks like. This is Lincoln School District 156, south suburbs of Chicago. Demographics probably very similar to Benton Harbor. And this is a Spanish class. And this is what it could look like.
Excelente con tu hermana en la casa, with your sister at home. Muy bien, gracias. Señor Héctor Ramírez. Me gusta caminar con mi hermano en el parque. Muy bien, caminar con tu hermano en el parque. Okay, Marta. Marta tiene preguntas, perdón. Me gusta correr en la parque con mi hermano. Qué bueno, te gusta caminar con tus amigos. ¿Dónde te gusta caminar con tus amigos, Marta? Ah, en el parque. Okay.
Okay. Vector. So what I believe is a picture is worth a million words. First, you got to see the philosophy of why we do what we do. Then you got to see what actually happens in context. If you notice the woman that had on the Batman outfit, she's what we call a facilitator. So that could be a long-term sub. Their job is to classroom management to make sure that everything goes well. Teacher's job is to teach, but the two work together in tandem so that instruction can be delivered. All right. Let's go there. So this is actually the proximity learning model. You have a facilitator, you have a live teacher, you have your active learners in the classroom. Each student needs their own one-to-one computing device. If you have a Promethean board that goes to the front of the room, that's like best practice and so forth. One of the most important things that we do at Proximity, we use your curriculum. It's not necessarily our curriculum that's canned. So whatever you're doing in classroom A with your in-person teacher, you will do in classroom B with the proximity teacher. So this is the power of synchronous instruction. It's personalized attention, tailored support, individual needs, because we can put kids in breakout rooms, we can put kids in intervention groups and so forth. It's also emotional support. And you saw with Jackie Ferreira, how she was talking to the students. She said, Hector Ramirez, and she called his name out. So she had that rapport with them. The other thing, just like brick and mortar classroom, immediate feedback. Instead of putting your kids in something like a software product where it can't talk back to me as a teacher, I can look into your eyes. And let's say if I'm working on algebra and we're doing FOIL multiplication and you don't know first, outer, and last, or you get the concepts mixed up, I can determine that. That's the beauty of and science of teaching. The other thing in a virtual environment, it can be engaging. I showed you that within the video, and we can also adapt the pace according to where students are. Every kid that starts on a learning continuum are not necessarily on the same place. So we can do all of the things like MTS inside of the classroom as well. The most important thing is every student, and for me, this is a human rights issue. When I grew up in Illinois, I knew that when I went to school, I was going to meet some woman on the other side of the room that was going to teach me, love me. That dream is fading from our students. So like I said, this is not the best solution, being honest, but at least it is a solution until we can get over this. Teachers matter. They're very important. The most two important people in the classroom is number one, the teacher, and number two, the student. So I talked about this, your curriculum. One other thing I wanted to show you was this study that was done by Chicago State, We have a long partnership with Shelby County, Memphis City Schools. We placed over 100 teachers there. This was actually the proximity mean score against their mean score with their regular teachers. Now, a lot of those teachers were on emergency certification, but as you can see, the proximity mean score actually for all subjects was almost 10 points, actually 10 points higher than the district's teachers. And this is all done peer-reviewed articles, so you can look at it. This was done at Chicago State with Dr. Gerard McClendon and Chicago State Education Department. So that's what I call the rapid response. If there are questions, I'll be more than happy to answer any questions from anybody. Yes.
Thank you very much. I'll open the floor up. Any questions from the board?
Madam President,
You have the floor.
I like this, but I do have a question for you, Dr. Griffin. How would you say this is different than the virtual learning that we have now?
It gives them an opportunity. These teachers have office hours. They can work with a kid one-on-one. And you get that the engagement is much higher. It's much closer to a teacher than the other programs. The other programs spit out a lot of good reports, centric and subject.com. But this, you had a live teacher that's working 5 days a week versus subject.com, you get a teacher 2 days a week. And then they have work every other day that they have to work on. And they can ask questions, but they don't get the questions answered till they get that live teacher. This literally is a teacher you get every day, and you get the teacher has office hours and can give that feedback a lot sooner. It's a bit more hands-on for the courses than, say, the Cape situation where it's all kind of virtual and you get a couple of days.
Okay, so I like that. But my next question goes to is, I know we were told that we had accidentally paid for it. I could be wrong, but we accidentally
Oh,
paid. So you see where would that put us at as a district? We would have then 3 virtual educations. So we're making sure no child is left behind because we'll have a teacher for
Well,
each subject, but
Right, they hit different gaps though.
okay.
They hit different gaps. For me, in our K-12 area, we gotta have these are certified teachers, right? And they're in the classroom, well, not physically, but they're available and to teach that coursework every day like a teacher versus the other gaps being for credit recovery or something like that.
Okay.
You don't get them every day. And I understand your point in terms of centric and subject, but they're filling other gaps as well. Those centric and subject.com are closing those academic gaps for kids who need credit recovery and other stuff. But these are just gen ed courses, our SPED, which we desperately need. Right? This is what this is gonna feel for us. All these vacancies, that's why when I shared it, I shared the vacancy list. He's gonna go and find us those. We got 7 out of 8 vacancies. There's, subs, but he'll find us those certified teachers that have the pedagogy that we're looking for and can give that feedback, grades, all of that, talking to parents, they'll do all of that.
One thing I will say, and this is, I'm done. I liked how it did Memphis, Lincoln, and Kansas City.
Yes, sir.
Those are similar demographics to our community. So thank you for this presentation and thank you for your answers, Dr. Griffin.
Certainly.
Thank you. I had a clarifying oh, go ahead, Secretary Triplett. I'll defer to you.
First of all, I'm excited about this, and I want to take this opportunity to thank our superintendent and our director of human resources for working together to identify something of this magnitude. Saying Kansas City, Kansas, it just brought a flashback in my life. Dr. Anna Chandler, who worked here as the director of elementary education years ago, and some of you all remember Sandra K. Rutter, who was an English teacher and counselor. She ended up going to Kansas City, Kansas Public Schools when she left Benton Harbor. So that was like, okay, that's a hello piece. I had an opportunity to teach online. It was tutoring and teaching online, and it was an absolutely amazing piece. I think that this will fill vacancies. the question that I had in my mind was who's going to be in the actual classroom to help facilitate. They provide that as well. The district will provide that. So, and you have certified, qualified teachers in these subject matters, but you have a sub or somebody in there that's leading the other pieces, and they're working in tandem together. And they're also working, I think this is, like you said, it is not the best, but it is better than
Yes.
everything else that we have.
Yes, yes.
Because one of the most difficult things to do as an administrator is to lead a building when you have all of these vacancies. That's very hard. And so I'm just excited about it and I appreciate it. I'm looking forward to it working. I just hope that we have everything in place from the technology department, that our kids have their Chromebooks and they have all of those things in order for us to be successful. Thank you, Dr. Griffin, Dr. Robinson, and I'm quite sure that they've met together with the Human Resource Department to figure out unique ways to handle what we're dealing with. And it's not just happening here. Thank you. Appreciate you.
Trustee Gavin.
Thank you. Okay, so I have a few questions. Subject only works with credit recovery. It does not work with any other regular ed courses.
It can. I'll have to double check with Dr. Foster. I don't know in her absence, the other component that we're using it for. But I'll be candid with you. I'll say I found some other ways that this benefits our kids, but go ahead to your next question. I'll have to circle back to you about the other way we're using them because we had to figure out how to use them both when we found out we couldn't get out of the contract.
Okay, so that's one thing I am wondering if subject provides that service already. The other thing is it's student co-teaching model. And so, I guess if I'm visualizing it, what you're saying is if I have 20 vacancies, then you're able to fill those 20 vacancies with certified teachers in that specific area. My question is, do I still need to have 20 facilitators
was my
in those
question.
positions? So I'm actually needing 40 staff for that position.
Trustee Gavin, that's a great question. So let me explain how this goes. You have to have a facilitator in the class. Someone has to handle classroom management. Facilitator does not have to be a licensed educator. It can be a substitute. It could be a parent, all depending on how your system is structured. Our teacher is licensed. So when I come here, I'm going to bring you a licensed teacher. We're going to take them through Michigan reciprocity and certification so that they have a Michigan license. Now we'll start them off first, and some of them we may already have some on that have the license. That's the first thing. Then going back to what you were saying, the difference between our program and the other program, credit recovery is different. That's an asynchronous thing. That's a onesie. Our teacher will be in your classroom from bell to bell. So if you are on a traditional schedule, chemistry meets from 8 to 9, section 1, 9:05 to 10:05 for section 2. Our teacher is going to actually attend those classes. Students will be able to talk to the teacher bi-directional, which you saw in the classroom. So it's an open forum. It's really seamless. The other thing that Superintendent Griffin was talking about, in order to make this work, the reason why it works is that when our teachers are a part of your planning period, your PLCs, they are part of your fabric. They are part of your curriculum. Whatever curriculum you are using, they're going to use that. A lot of asynchronous programs, you have to use their curriculum. So like also in our classes, we give every student a pre and a post test, especially for our high value courses. One of the reasons why Shelby County works with us, in the state of Tennessee, they have a thing called ELC, TVAS, test, which is given by the state, and only a state certified teacher can teach that class in order for them to get credit. And that's why they use us. So those wonderful questions.
I have another question.
Yes, ma'am.
What is your turnaround time for if we needed 20 teachers? What's your turnaround time on those 20 teachers,
Okay.
certified teachers?
Okay, so we have a deep bench of teachers. In 7 to 10 working days, I could have your stuff up and running and then have someone come in and train the facilitators. So I've already kind of said, team, this may be coming. So they are in the background. They started like from the list that I had, they started trying to recruit and put people there ready for you if this is a decision that you guys want to make.
Just a distinction, you said training the facilitators, but placing the certified teachers
Oh, yeah.
is my
No, yeah,
question.
no,
You're
that's-
saying that within 7 to 10
Yeah.
days, you can fill all of our teacher vacancies?
I believe so. I believe so. Most of them, yes. So it may be a rolling thing. So for instance, if you said I need 10 algebra teachers, whatever we had on that list that you
The
shared with
vacancy
me,
list.
I've already had my HR team and the recruiters working. So I know I can fill those.
Within 7 to 10 days?
7 to 10 working
Is
days.
there like a money back guarantee?
Well,
Gotta ask,
I mean,
because
listen,
we've seen a
it's
lot of
just like when we're
things.
dealing with human capital, right?
Mhm.
We're dealing with, somebody could say no, but the way we work, I'm not gonna sit here and tell you that everything is gonna be perfect. But we have been doing this for so long, we can't anticipate. So like when Dr. Griffin came to me with this and Ms. Dorsey, she knows she's been knowing me a very long time. We see each other every HR conference. And so I'll give you my word that we will do our best, to get them all filled for. Yeah, yes.
Thank you.
Secretary Triplett, did you already go? You went already. Okay, trustee Rackmeyer.
So who grades the students' work? The virtual teacher?
Yes, our teacher is your teacher of record. So they do all of the grading, planning, lesson planning, just like a regular teacher. What you have to think of this is as an extension of you. When we bring our teachers into your district, so like, let's just say, for instance, culturally, a teacher does not fit with the kids. We have, in the background, we have a TLS, which is teaching and learning. They're the instructional coaches. Then we have the TAS team, which they are kind of like our quality control. They're going to go through the grade books and all of that to make sure that whatever your grading policy is, that our teachers will follow that. And then you have a CSS person who's kind of like your customer success person. So let's say whoever is going to be the champion for each school, that person will communicate regularly with them as well.
Do your teachers have like times where they may have to work with a few students individually or a group, maybe a smaller group?
Well, then that's intervention and we
Yeah,
can
like
set
an
that up.
intervention type thing. It's
Yeah.
something they don't understand. Can they get in touch with their virtual teacher to get more clarification on their assignments? And those
That's why I
kinds of
always
things?
put planning period inside for parents to be able to talk to that teacher, for students to be able to talk to that. Remember, student can talk to the teacher within inside of the class because it's bi-directional, right? You saw what was happening there. When she called Hector out and he responded. So not only within class time, but also outside of class time.
Okay.
The other thing is I've required our teachers to attend your PLCs, your professional learning communities that you have set up, so they know the dynamics of what actually is going on in your district.
My last question.
Sure.
What's your recommendation for teacher-student ratio?
Okay, so we do not take more than 30 students in one classroom. So 0 to 30. If it's 31, then we add another class and so forth.
Okay, my question that I have, I noticed that part of the fee that we pay is for setup, technical support, et cetera. The headsets and technology that they're utilizing, is that included in this expense or is that our responsibility to get that technology?
We have the earbuds. However, we have something that's much better. We have a speaker. This video is probably 2 years old, but we have a speaker, a boom mic that sits inside the classroom. So there is no necessary need for headphones. unless you want. Now, there's two philosophies on that. Headphones can block out all ambient noise in the background and the kid can hear the teacher better. Or if you just want it to be like a regular classroom, which I recommend the Boom, and we will provide that for you. And if you do want earbuds, we can give those to you as well.
Is that cost included here in the
Yes.
price? Okay.
Yes. The headsets that was in that particular video, the district made the decision to
To
buy
those,
those.
okay.
Okay.
All right, and then my second question, I think might be more so for Dr. Griffin, and if you all have not gotten to this point, that's understandable. Just wondering if you have, because we don't necessarily have a position of a facilitator. Did you have an idea of what particular bracket of staff will be doing this? Will we be creating a new position for facilitators? What are our thoughts?
It's going to be the same people that's in the classes now.
The
Mhm,
people
so-
who have been managing
That's
currently?
correct.
Okay.
Correct. We'll train them. And another benefit is for the TNTs or Grow Your Owns. They'll get to see a teacher certified in action. So that's just another opportunity for them to be able to learn from that certified teacher in the classroom.
Okay, so my follow-up question to that is, being that they're acting in the role of a facilitator and not an educator in that capacity, will it still count for your Grow Your Own because they're not technically teaching those courses? Would there be a limitation there?
It shouldn't be, but I'll double check.
Okay.
I'll make certain that they get what they need in order
Okay.
to get certified. Here's why, because I'm in complete agreement with him. The best case is to have a certified teacher in the room and not on television. So we'll be working in tandem with TNT and with the other program to ensure that they're able to get those hours and co-facilitate in the classroom.
Can I add one thing to that?
Yes, of course.
I'm glad you brought that up, President Robinson. The Kansas City model, we do what they call the Fellows Program. So I can hook you up with Dr. Jones, Dr. Stubblefield, and
Mhm.
we've been doing this 3 years, and it's been very successful. They use us for the Grow Their Own. The first semester, those folks that are on emergency license that have went through the Fellows Program, they put them with a proximity teacher, and that's where the whole co-teaching model comes in. I teach, you assist, you teach, I assist, blah, 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 and going back and forth. So that's something we're very familiar with. Even in Shelby County, what they did with us, they had what they call the ILDs, and they are people who are trying to get their license. They put them in the classroom with the proximity. Now they have to pass that praxis exam, and then they go out into the wild, but they don't release them until the second semester. So I can definitely
Thank you.
hook you up with them.
Mhm.
Okay, and then my last question is for you. I believe you said at the start that if for some reason one of the virtual teachers decide that they want to be a staff of Benton Harbor Area Schools, then at that point we owe you nothing. They
Well, I
come
didn't- I
in,
didn't
we
say- You want their service for the time they start, but for us, for me, listen, I would like for you to put us out of it, right? Because, I mean, how I look at it, I'm a brown kid and I came up in school district Waukegan Public Schools. And the best thing is if a live person can walk through that door. I'm adamant about that, and I believe that. I say that with conviction because I'm product of public schools. I mean, I'm worried about where we're going, but that's why I kind of like I look at this as a mission and a ministry, because I know if it not be for like proximity learning, there would be a lot of kids who would not get a state certified teacher, someone that understands, especially your core areas like math. I'm not gonna name the district, but it's in a neighboring state. I went into a school that it was unbelievable. Went into a chemistry class, and there was a substitute teaching the chemistry class. And I asked how many kids that were planning on matriculating college. 80% of them raised their hand. I said, how many of you guys are planning on going nursing, pre-med, and so forth? 10 of those kids raised their hands. Now, what is the one course, if you want to be a doctor
Mhm.
in undergrad pre-med, that will wipe you out? It's organic chemistry. So if you come in with a deficit and you don't know how to do moles to molecules before you get there, you're not going to be successful. And that's why this is so important. And then the other thing is, I believe that this has to be a partnership, right? That's why training is so important. That's why it's important that every administrator understands the virtual environment. And that's why I respect Mr. Triplett, you actually having the opportunity to work in it. It can work if everybody buys in and we get the right facilitators and we train them, we hold them accountable like you hold us accountable. And that's what I want to say, unless anybody else got anything to say. Yes, ma'am.
I just have just a logistics question.
Sure.
So if a facilitator is absent, does that mean either we have to get somebody in there, or like, can that class go on with the proximity teacher, or do we have to, like, for example, without proximity, like you said, sometimes we double up classrooms, we do that, you know, we do these other things. If the person on the ground is absent, is a proximity teacher still able to service that class, or do we have to get a body in there? And are there no stipulations of who the body is? If you understand my question?
Sure.
Because there's a certified teacher, could it be, not that we would want the security guard to have to do that because we want the security guard to do security work, but could it be somebody that just doesn't have?
That happens all the time. So let's say a facilitator, I mean, they're human, you know, they could be on their way to God
A degree.
Yeah, and something happened, they have an accident in their car.
Mhm.
I've seen where, you know, other staff members have had to step in. You have to have, by law, someone in that classroom. You can't just leave kids because the teacher is virtual. That teacher may be living in California or New York somewhere. So yes, and I thought you were going to ask me what would happen if a proximity teacher was absent. Well, we have two things that we do. We have we have our own sub pool if that teacher is going to be on for a long-term assignment. But this is why the planning period is so important. The facilitator and the teacher, they have to work at LPL. So if we know, like, for a day that teacher, the way the system is set up, that facilitator can pick up and give the work. And if not, we have our own sub pool too. I can say, hey, we need a teacher in that classroom.
Okay, so you have a sub if the proximity teacher is absent. If our facilitator is absent, I guess I'm wondering, what is the legal requirement for our facilitator? Do they have to have a degree at all? Can it be somebody that's not degreed, a volunteer? That's
That-
what I'm wondering.
That
If
has
they
to go
cannot, I
to
see a
your
head
Collective
shaking.
bargaining, whatever is in the rules. I mean, I've seen it like places like Mississippi. They have parents who work as service facilitators. I've seen where lunchroom monitors have actually come into play. I've seen where security guards come. I've even seen where the secretaries come in. I've even seen where the principal has acted as the facilitator for that class.
Well, who
Yeah.
can answer that question? Is that a Dr. Griffin question? Is that a HR question of who can serve as a facilitator?
As long as there's a certified teacher in the classroom, we can put a substitute there, or other staff.
Other staff, but not like a volunteer.
Well, no, because our pros are unionized, so we can't use volunteers for those positions.
Thank you.
So
Okay, we're gonna go ahead, Secretary Triplett, and then we'll try to.
So when you look at that
Proceed.
situation, it's just like, say, for instance, we have this certified teacher in this classroom. So the facilitator, which might be a teacher in training, it might be a substitute teacher, which we had to have in that room anyhow. So if somebody is not there, we have to replace that teacher with a substitute teacher. So you will replace that facilitator with a substitute teacher. I do want to share with my colleagues, seriously, having had the opportunity to do this online with students in Arkansas, we established a great relationship. They knew me, I knew them. Christmas time, I sent gifts to the principal, cards to the principal, who gave them to my students. It was a small group of like probably 15 kids. But you really do, when you have that teacher in there, and like I said, we got the technology and everything, because let us be clear. We do have certified teachers in Ben Harbor, people. These are just for vacancy. So I don't want people to think that the district is going into this. This is right here to fill the vacancy. And the young lady that just got up and spoke said her granddaughter is in classes with our certified teacher. And that's very, very important. I think we need to focus on that we do have certified teachers, that we're able to do our part of the contract for making sure our kids have everything that they need. This will be very, very successful. It's not going to knock anything out with the union or anything, because the goal is to fill those vacancies. And like he said, if somebody wants to come, we hire somebody to come in, they apply for it, because we're always looking for teachers. But in the meantime, in between time, our kids is getting a certified teacher in front of them. I feel it.
All right, so I just want to thank you for your presentation. Dr. Griffin, did you have something to add? Okay.
Just wanted to add the difference again between subject.com. Subject offers hybrid, live teacher and self-paced, proximity learning, live teacher every day. With subject.com, it provides asynchronous, self-paced online courses that allow students to complete work independently with teacher oversight. In contrast, proximity learning offers live synchronous instruction delivered by certified teachers who teach subjects in real time and virtual classes. So in layman's terms, subject, that's your self-paced, competency-based learning piece, where I'm a student, if I keep going, I can be done in, say, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, versus proximity learning, where you in a real court, just like school, and it's a semester long with report card pickup and all of that. That's another difference.
All right, so without further ado, thank you.
Yes.
Dr. Griffin, can you please present staff report S1? And then as she's preparing to do so, I just want to remind the Board of Protocol 9/13/2022, all comments will be limited to 2 minutes per trustee per topic. I knew that this was something new for us that we had to dig into. So I'm not throwing any shade, but moving forward, we'll do our 1 comment per trustee, and I ask that Tech or Ms. Singer ensure we have the timer set. I can read it for you if it's easier. I can read it. Okay, so staff report S1, subject proximity learning proposal approval dated for October 14th, 2025. Reason for board consideration: the Board of Education shall approve all textbooks or contracts used as a part of the educational program of this district. Purchases over 31,321 need board approval according to the most recent State of Michigan Department of Education threshold. Facts and Analysis Proximity Learning offers a virtual instructional platform designed to fill critical teacher vacancies within Benton Harbor area schools by providing certified teachers who deliver live, standards-aligned lessons across a wide range of subjects. This model ensures continuity. Continuity, thank you. I knew someone right about that. Particularly in high demand areas such as math, science, special education, and electives. Pricing is structured at $1,008 per section per month for standard courses and electives. Pricing is structured at $1,008 per section per month for standard courses and $1,248 per section per month for special education, with dedicated planning periods included for each teacher. One-time fees include $37,499.15 for setup, maintenance, and case management, and $3,500 for facilitator training, bringing the total projected contract value to $1,108,859.15. The agreement requires a 5-month minimum commitment with early termination requiring full payment. By leveraging this platform, the district can immediately stabilize classrooms, reduce long-term reliance on substitutes, and provide students with consistent, qualified instruction while continuing broader teacher recruitment efforts. Policy reference, policy number 6320, purchasing, funding source, general fund, strategic plan reference, academics, Benton Harbor area schools will increase student achievement as measured on local, state, and national assessments. Recommended action that the Benton Harbor Area School Board of Education votes to approve the proximity learning contract in the amount of $1,108,859.15 to provide virtual instruction and support services for the 2025-2026 school year as outlined in the attached proposal. And this is submitted by Dr. Simone Griffin, Superintendent. Is there a motion to approve staff report S1?
I so move.
Is there a second or support?
Support.
The motion has been made by Secretary Triplett and supported by Vice President Bowens. Any questions, comments, or concern?
Madam President, again, it's unfortunate the manner in which the subject was presented to us, how it was, we can't look back. We just have to find ways to use subject to our advantage. But I don't think anybody has ever really looked at financially how much money we have paid for EduStaff. How much money do we actually pay for substitutes to come in here every day to fill these vacancies? I'm quite sure it's over $1 million. And those are not certified people. Those are people who have 60 credit hours, not to diminish what anybody brings to the table. So don't let this throw you off when you hear 1 million. Because I know when we're talking about across this district and across this state and across this nation, Benton Harbor area schools is paying cash money for substitute teachers. And so now we just don't have a substitute teacher in those classrooms. We will have a certified teacher in front of our student. And that is very, very, very important. I know we are nervous because we put our trust in what others presented to us, and they weren't always integral. They did not look out for our best interest. But I would be willing to risk it to say, if we can identify certified teachers and say that we have certified teachers before our kids, I support it.
Okay, sir, my apologies. I have one clarifying question for you. This says that the agreement requires a 5-month minimum commitment with early termination requiring full payment. So should I read that as if we realize in 3 months it doesn't work for us, we still owe you 5, or what does that?
Standard language, that's like a semester commitment. So really, if, let's say you get down the road 60 days from now, and you say, hey, this teacher, we found a teacher, we're gonna honor that. We're not gonna lock you in for 5 months. That's how we have to write our contracts. But I will give you my word on that. So you could write that in there. You want me to sign an addendum, put that out. So, and then also with the cost, with the million, let's say this is for what was actually put on the sheet, the max. But let's say you only need half of that. You're not gonna charge it. We can't charge it for something that has not been delivered.
So I just want to make sure I understand you clearly, because I hear you telling me if we find a teacher, you won't charge us, but we're voting on something that says you will charge us.
You have a 30.
So, Madam President,
Yes.
should we be changing the motion? I mean,
I'm not certain. This isn't per teacher. This is the contract with you all. It's not, this terminology is not referencing a teacher.
The vacancy.
If you break it down, let's say, for instance, you only need 5 of the 20 teachers. I cannot charge you for 15 teachers because I have not delivered service, because it's a service contract. It's not like buying a software. So like when you go to a company that's an asynchronous company, like the one that you're using, you're buying the license. They don't care whether you use it. I have to actually get the teacher in, get them going. If I don't do that, then there is no charge for me. Or if you say to me, you come back with course that says, Mike, I know I said 10, but I only really need 6 of those people. I can't charge you for 4 teachers that you didn't.
Okay, I'll just ask a little bit more offline, because I'm still not, maybe it's just me. Because this says agreement requires a 5-month minimum commitment with early termination requiring full payment. So I understand that if we have a contract for 10 teachers and we only use 5, that you're answering me, you're answering something different than what I'm asking. Okay.
That's. Did I do a separate case management?
You did, it's, on this last.
Are you looking at case management?
No, I'm looking at our staff report as what we're actually voting on, the way it's written. And I apologize, board. I'm not trying to prolong this.
5 months minimum, early cancel because, yeah, I'm looking at, yeah, it isn't, it's the bullet,
I think I provided two.
this one.
Yeah, service term 5-month minimum. Early cancellation requires full payment of total contract.
This one, do you want me to break?
Yeah, we can make, if you want to make an addendum, I mean, a change to that, you can. And I'd be willing to sign off on it, where it is, you get a 30-day out clause. So let's say, for instance, you get a teacher, you find a teacher, I will give you 30 days. You only have to, you'll be on the hook for 30 days. So if you told me something like November 1, then the teacher, you'd be paying until December 1, the transition period.
Okay,
So, Madam President,
go ahead.
I have a question to your question. So say, for example, we vote on this, Secretary Triplett, when he signs this, these corrections and what he's stating can be added to the addendum.
To the addendum at
So
that
we
time.
can still go ahead and vote on this, noting that there's an addendum coming and Secretary Triplett,
Correct.
and you would say,
Okay, that's fine with me.
I
just-
will not sign it.
The only reason I'm asking is because we have the other 2 programs and then we're committing to another and then the 5. So I'm not against it. I just want to make sure that we fully understand what that language meant, but we can proceed with the vote. I'm not trying to block it at all.
I still had a comment.
I have,
Go
so-
ahead, Dr. Griffin.
Is it my assertion that the service term is, that's a semester? We're
Yeah.
gonna need it for at least one semester
Right.
for at least one
So you,
teacher.
to be honest with you, you actually, if let's say we start the semester, you've already, August and September is
Already.
gone, right?
Mhm.
So it's only 3 months. So in the next semester, I'll still give you 30 days. I put 30-day out clause in there.
Okay.
I'm willing to sign it.
Secretary Chip, go ahead, Gavin. I'm sorry.
You know, for me, so from what you have here, there has been a list of vacancies presented to you already. So you know exactly what it is. So you know that we have, say for instance, we have 10 vacancies or we have 15 vacancies. He already know from the Human Resource Department what vacancies we have in this entire district. Okay, so those classes, then we'll be able to say that we have certified teachers in all of our classrooms. And we can start moving in that direction. We do have, again, it is not like we don't already have certified teachers, and we will still be pursuing teachers and trying to recruit teachers to come to Benton Harbor area school.
I understood that. I just wanted to make sure that if they get 4 months in and they decide it's not what we signed up for, that we're not gonna be, but it's okay. Go ahead, Gavin. I have my clarification I needed.
Okay, so my question is, how many vacancies do we have?
The number. I'm gonna have, Madam President, can we ask, Ms. Dorsey? She's pulling up now, a vacancy list, I might have it too.
In core positions, we have two math teachers at the high school, environmental science teacher at the high school, chemistry teacher, biology teacher, social studies teacher at the high school, sixth grade math teacher, sixth grade social studies teacher, sixth grade science teacher, eighth grade social studies teacher, kindergarten teacher, second grade teacher, choir music teacher, art teacher, music teacher, elective teacher, the middle school.
How
About,
many is
about
that,
how
please?
many was that?
18, I come- I come to 17.
18.
Okay, thank you. Vice President Vaughn.
That's 18.
Right.
Does this contract cover 18 vacancies, or does it cover if we get 3 more vacancies, like, does it cover exactly this 18?
I forgot I don't have the contract in front of me.
Actually, I can give you my.
And just for clarification, so we don't want anybody to think that we don't support this. Everybody's really excited about this. But as we kind of, oh, this is yours. As we've kind of discussed, we've invested in other programs that were presented at the same at expensive rates. So we just want to make sure we have a full understanding of what we are supporting.
Okay, so first thing, let's say, even if the contract said 20 teachers, it's the first thing you say. Just think about it this way. You said, Mike, I need 20 teachers at the outset, but Ms. Dorsey may have hired 2 more teachers. So that number goes down. This is basically an up to amount. You cannot spend over it. So if it's 18 teachers, that's all we're gonna charge you for, it's 18 teachers. So even though it says 20, you're only using 18 because it's a service contract. It's not a software contract. And I think that that's the difference. If you only had tomorrow, let's say she recruited 8 more teachers and you only use 10 teachers, I can only charge you for 10 teachers. Another caveat, let's say you find an algebra teacher, but a chemistry teacher drops out. You can take that teacher and shift it over for the number of months that's left for the chemistry teacher. So it gives you a lot of flexibility.
I just want, just for clarity. So we would be needing to, is this 20? Is that what this is?
I don't
I would
know
like to
exactly
know what we
because
are getting.
We do it by section, we do it by classroom periods. So I just took, like, for instance, the math teacher, right? You had let me see, a planning period. Let's just say, for instance, chemistry for the school. You needed 1 chemistry teacher. 1 chemistry teacher teaches 5 sections because you were on a traditional schedule. And then there's 1 section in there for planning period, right? So where they would meet. So that's how it's done.
No, I appreciate that. I just want the number. And I hope I'm not coming off rude. I just want to know, with this million, what's the number?
But
How many teachers?
18.
It's 18 teachers, 18
It's
vacancies.
18 in here. Can somebody direct me to the page
The,
that says
the
that?
contract says 20 though, right?
Right, well, the contract is broken down by classroom periods. So I just took what you gave me
Mm-hmm.
and I said, okay, each thing is done by a period. It's not done by, like, oh, you need 1 teacher because
Yeah, it's done
let's say
by
your
that.
teacher only teaches 3 sections of chemistry. I can't charge you for 5 sections of chemistry. I'm only charging you for 3. But in this case, I know that the chemistry teacher teaches 5 sections, but we have 1 section planning period.
Yes, because I also shared our schedule,
Yes.
the master schedule for the high school. So we know what those classes are. So he has the schedule, he has the master schedule for the high school as well as the vacancy list. So these numbers come from those 2 documents that were shared for this year.
I guess for me, for me, what I'm trying to calculate in my head is how many teachers this covers. Does it cover all of our vacancies? Does it guarantee to cover all of our present vacancies? And what is the calculation for the permanent subs that we would need to hire to fill those vacancies as well?
Yeah, they're in there now.
Hmm?
They're in there
They're
now.
already.
She's using the same staff they have now.
So we have permanent subs in all those positions now?
Yeah, we have someone in every classroom current, whether it's a TNT, yeah, so they're non-certified, so they would be classified as subs, correct?
Okay.
Subs are in those classrooms current, and they will become the facilitators and get trained by proximity learners so they can work in tandem with the proximity learner teacher.
Okay, thank
Yeah,
you. I'm
remember,
just wondering
centric-
if we can get kind of a guarantee that what we're voting on covers all of our vacancies. That's what because, we've been this is nothing against you, sir, but we've just been in other situations in which we thought we were getting X, Y, Z, and it wasn't that. And so I just want explicit written clarity.
Okay, so I don't know what the vacancies are today in the district.
They're still the
I just
18
know
she
what-
called.
What was given to me, what was
Mhm.
said for me to put together, and that's what I did.
Miss,
Put those together. Now, I will tell you, I'll give you an example of what districts do. Let's say, for instance, they enter into a contract and they say, okay, all of a sudden, they need 5 more teachers. All they do is just come back to the board and they do an addendum. We do that in Shelby. It's just like, I put in 100 teachers, but now they've got 200 vacancies. They come back, same thing with Kansas City. Kansas City just says, okay, here's the number. We're only gonna spend up to this amount. If you need more, come back to us. And that's all handled by their HR department. And the HR department says, oh, we need 3 more teachers. And then what our team will say, okay, this is what your contract has. And if you need more, then you just come back and you do an addendum. Also the reverse. You said you needed 20, but you only need 15. So we say, okay, you got 5 spots over there that's sitting. Whether, if you don't use it, we don't charge you for it.
I understand what you're saying. I guess what's not coming across for me is the explicit number. Like
Okay,
that simplicity of it's 18 or it's 20.
vacancies,
Yes.
it was 18 vacancies. And so do you want him to subtract the 2? Because the contract says, excuse me, 20, right? Isn't the contract for up to 20?
That's what I'm asking, like, we paid.
What's-
I can't, see, all I did was just took what you gave me.
Okay,
And
Yeah.
I put them into classroom periods because that's how.
that's how the master schedule was laid out.
That's right.
Gotcha.
That's what I use the master schedule.
Okay, are we ready
Let me
to
see,
proceed with the vote?
I
Did you
wanna-
have a comment or a question, Dawn?
I was gonna call for the vote.
Okay, Secretary Triplett, can you please call for the vote? For staff report S1?
Thank you. If she wants more, I can provide it for her.
Okay. Can you call for the vote for S1?
No.
You have a comment?
Yeah, I just want to make sure that she's comfortable.
Go for it.
I can make sure that we get those numbers to her so she can see, because he did this per class according to our master schedule for all of the subject areas for those teachers that are needed to fill those courses for those periods in the schedule. Does that make sense? And so
Yes,
what I'll
ma'am.
do is I'll present, I can circle back with him to give you a sense of comfort in your vote. Another document that'll show you the exact number for how much each course that's taught will cost.
Dr.
commit to that.
Griffin, no, I appreciate that. I see how he has it broken down.
Okay,
It doesn't
good.
say the exact number, but it does say specifically
okay.
which class.
I just want to make sure you feel comfortable.
Yeah, thank you.
And
Okay.
feel educated to take it.
So
Secretary Triplett, can you please call the vote? You had a follow-up question?
what he has here, just for clarification, these are the spots where certified teachers are needed, hour by hour at the high school level and at elementary level for the day. And that's what this right here that we have in front of us, hour by hour. So all of those spots are served are filled with a certified teacher in conjunction with supporting our teachers in training who have been in these classes already or in the classes where there are long-term subs or subs who change from week to week, day to day. Now, all of these places will be filled. We do have teachers that have substitutes that have been standing in the gap for us, and so this is going to strengthen the force. Am I clear?
All right, Secretary
Okay.
Triplett, please call the vote for staff report S1.
And
Hmm.
go ahead, forget it. I'm
You
good.
had another comment?
No, I'm good.
You weren't finished?
No, ma'am, I'm good in my vote. I just, yeah.
I cut you off?
No, ma'am.
Oh, okay.
Mm-mm.
Call the
We
vote
good.
for staff
We
report
good.
S1.
President Robinson,
Yes.
Vice President Bowen,
Yes.
Secretary Triplett, yes. Trustee Rocket Martin,
Yes.
Trustee Gavin,
Yes.
Trustee Doyle,
Yes.
motion carried.
All right, thank you so much for your time and your patience today. I appreciate you again. I knew that we had the support of the board, so I don't want you to think that it's your presentation or lack of our trust in administration or anything of that nature. But our district has made quite a few hefty investments, specifically, for example, some boiler work that we thought we were investing in something that we didn't get. So, and it was specific down to the language of the contract. So it's not you, it's not Dr. Griffin, it's not our directors, it's what we've experienced before and trying to make sure that we understand completely where we're spending the $1 million versus just getting the overview and going with what we're told versus what we see. All right. So congratulations to you. We look forward to working with you. All right. Up next, so I did ask for a timer. I didn't see that happen just yet. So if we could get that up and running. Board retreat recap, I expected for us to talk a little bit more in detail about it. Just want to make sure the public knows that the board had a leadership and unity retreat. In the was it last week or 2 weeks ago? 2 weeks ago?
2 weeks ago.
2 weeks ago. It was fabulous. For the sake of time, we will discuss that more at our work session. Cost analysis for council at meetings. So this is a follow-up that I told you all that I would have Director Brock Carter provide to you. It is linked within your agenda as well as in your binder. She has essentially she's done the math for us and done the calculations of what potentially annual costs would be for Clark Hill or Troon for council. And it breaks down if it's a member, a senior attorney or an associate, what the cost would be on an annual basis for both Clark Hill and Troon. So if you guys kind of take a look at that, I know we discussed having council at meetings. I will circle back to each of you guys to kind of get your thoughts because we got two different attorneys. We could choose to try both of them for a certain period of time and see which firm we like a little bit better at the table. But I will circle back on a one-on-one and kind of get you all's feedback on that and ensure you've had adequate time to look at the numbers, because I don't think this was linked when we sent it out Thursday. So I just wanted to follow up with you guys on that. So up next, we have our Policy and Discipline Committee, second readings. This is for Policy 2414, Reproductive Health and Family Planning, revised. Policy 2418, Sex Education. Policy 8321, Criminal Justice Information Security, Non-Criminal Justice Agency, revised. Policy 7540.09, Artificial Intelligence, which is new. Policy 5500, Student Conduct, revised. Policy 5340, Student Accidents, revised. Policy 5330.02, opioid antagonist, revised, and policy 3120.08, employment of personnel for co-curricular, extracurricular activities, revised. Staff report B2 is being presented to the board for the policies as noted. Go ahead, because we've
I
already
make a
seen it.
motion to support staff report B2.
All right, is there a second?
Second.
The motion has been made by Vice President Bowens and supported by Trustee Gavin. Any questions, comments, or concerns regarding the noted policies?
Madam President, I call for the vote.
All right, Secretary Triplett?
President Robinson,
Yes.
Vice President Bowens,
Yes.
Secretary Triplett, yes. Trustee Rocket Martin, trustee Gavin,
Yes.
trustee Doyle,
Yes.
motion carry.
All right, up next, we have Finance and Operations. Director Brock Carter went over our monthly report, so at this time,
Madam President,
go ahead, you have the
I
floor.
make a motion that we approve staff report F1 from the notes that Ms. Brock gave us.
All right, and she did, if I'm not mistaken, she went over this information with us in our work session. Is there a second or support? The motion has been made by Vice President Bowens and supported by trustee Rocket Martin. Any questions, comments, or concerns? Secretary Triplett, please call the vote for staff report F1.
President Robinson,
Yes.
Vice President Bowen,
Yes.
Secretary Triplett, yes, trustee Rocket Martin, trustee Gavin,
Yes.
trustee Doyle,
Yes.
motion carried.
All right, moving right along, to Human Resources. And I will allow you all to proceed with the separation of staff report H1. Is she? I can, you can go forth, okay.
Y'all moving it quick too.
Separation of employment, date October 14, 2025. Reason for board consideration, a list of employees whose employment relationship with the district or will be separated is submitted to the board each month. Fact and analysis, it is recommended that the Board of Education vote to accept the separation of employment of the following staff. Policy reference 3140, 4140, termination and resignation of professional/support staff. Strategic plan goal reference, personnel leadership. Benton Harbor area schools will recruit, hire, develop, and retain the best staff to improve student outcomes. Hoover Shannon, instructional facilitator, resignation, effective date 9/2/25. Fair Play Middle School, date of hire 8/5/2022, September 5th, 2025. No exit, interview completed. Jeremy Butler, choir teacher, resignation, September 12th, 2025, from Benton Harbor High School and Fair Play Middle School. August 21st, 2023, September 15th, 2025. No exit interview completed. Antoine Hines, early childhood special education teacher, termination 9/23/2025, DEC 10/9/2024. No exit interview completed. Alexis Willis, hashtag Teach Art teacher, resignation 9/17 from MLK, August 21st, 2023. Start date 9/22/2025. No exit interview completed. Ashley Williams, academic interventionist, resignation 9/17/2025 from MLK, 5/28/2019, 9/22/2025. We can probably addend that it says no, but she submitted one. Corliss Nichols, teacher in training, resignation 9/26/2025. Fair Play Middle School, 9/19/2022, 10/2/2025. No exit, interview completed. Dr. Christopher Burnick, Director of Special Education, resignation 10/2, Central Office 7/10/2020, in person 10/2/2025. An exit interview was completed. Jaleesa Ray Simmons, virtual teacher, resignation 10/2/2025 from Cape, 9/9/2022, 10/6/2025. No exit interview completed. M. Shannon Raquette, school principal, resignation 10/14 MLK from June 17th, 1996. Sorry, my screen just went out. To be done in person, her resignation and exit interview. And then Jeffrey McCoy, school social worker, resignation 10/10, Fair Plain Middle School and Ben Harbor High School, August 21st, 2023. Exit interview will be done in person. Recommended action that the Benton Harbor Area Schools Board of Education votes to accept the resignation of employment of the aforementioned staff.
My written copy has a name. Was that, I have a Mr. Clark on
He
mine.
rescinded his this morning.
Amazing. Okay. Is there a motion to approve staff report H1?
Madam President,
You have the floor.
I reluctantly make a motion to approve staff report H1.
Is there a second or support?
I support.
The motion has been made by Vice President Bowens and supported by Secretary Triplett. Questions, comments, or concerns? Trustee Gavin? Can we get the timer set? And this is not for you specifically. This is to make sure we keep going. You ready? Okay, go ahead. You have the floor.
Thank you. Yes, I do have some questions regarding the column that says okay to share with the board. That column is blank. And so I'm wondering why that column's blank. And then also if we have some folks who have submitted exit interviews and the columns is saying no, why is that?
I'm going to turn it over to Ms. Dorsey to answer those.
So if the column says no, it means that they did not complete the interview. And to be honest with you, the okay to share with the board, I wasn't aware it was even there. I will look into that and get back to you.
I'm sorry, I can't hear you.
Can you hear me now? The exit interview completed says no, it means they did not complete that. And we found that they were doing them electronically, but they weren't being returned. Still can't hear.
I can hear. We can hear you. Yeah.
Yeah, we can hear you.
I can't hear very well. You can hear very
Can the
well?
mics go up? I mean, every time somebody talks from a mic, it just don't work. What is the deal?
Hers works. If you could just speak up.
Hear the
Is that
air.
better?
Yes,
Okay.
definitely. Thank you.
You got
Use your
technology
outside
here.
voice. Use your outside voice.
Okay, so for the exit interview, if it says no, they did not complete the exit interview. Those were done electronically. So we're transitioning to doing face to face to be sure we capture their thoughts about leaving the district. And the last column that says, okay to share with the board, to be honest, I didn't know that column was there. So I didn't ask when I met with Dr. Burnick if I could share with the board. I will going forward.
Okay, thank you. So just for clarity purposes, you're saying when they send you the written exit interview, a written exit interview statement, you consider that to be no if they didn't sit down with you and interview with you?
They've not been submitting them. That's why we're sitting down face to face, because no one sent those back to the district. As far back as I could tell, they weren't being sent back in the last few months. So we're going to meet with them face to face to be sure we get their impressions of their employment with the district.
When you're saying that you said they submit them electronically, is that not?
She's
I'm not
saying they
trying to
send them
be
to
vague.
them electronically, but they don't. She hadn't seen any return in the last few months. So she's trying to have a face-to-face interaction to try to receive the information. Is that correct?
That is correct. Thank you.
So what I would ask is some people are on their way out and they may not be intimidated by in person, but some people may not feel comfortable actually expressing in person why. So I would ask if we could still have the electronic option sent to them and then make the effort to do the in-person follow-up you know what I mean? So, because
Okay.
some people may not, when I left the state, I didn't want to answer to anybody about anything. And I didn't give them an explanation and I did not have those conversations because I didn't owe it to them. So some people may not feel comfortable with the in-person, but I appreciate the effort given to get it.
Thank you.
Okay.
Okay,
Yes,
so
ma'am.
my
I will-
other question.
Go ahead, Gavin, sorry.
I
No,
just
thank
wanted
you.
to respond and say that the reports, these are staff reports, and with Ms. Dorsey being new, these get done by my executive assistant, Ms. Singer, so she may not have been aware of this column. But when staff exiting fill out something, what I will do in the spirit of transparency is make sure that the board gets however it comes, whether it's in a paper bag. We will make sure that going forward that is addressed.
I appreciate that. I think it's very helpful because we're voting on it. And so for us
Yeah.
to understand
The rationale
nature
for
of
departure.
why they're departing, what happened, that
Yeah.
helps us with policy.
Yeah.
The other thing,
Can-
outside of the instructional facilitators, what are the positions that are being eliminated?
The academic interventionists were given the same information to go in classrooms like the instructional facilitators. But Ms. Dorsey, if you could speak to that, because I know we shared this information. But before we go to that, I want to go back to making sure that, so that as we build trust, there is some transparency. I think Ms. Dorsey is referring to like a exit survey or something like that versus an email with a letter explaining. What we'll do going forward to be vigilant in being transparent about how and when people leave is making sure that we share that information if it's okay with them, however they send it. Because if they send it a different route rather than the exit survey she's referring to, I want to make sure that that communication is clear between the two of you guys. If the person didn't do an exit survey through the link, but they sent some other correspondence, we'll make sure that that's shared as well.
I appreciate that. And also if they send the exit survey, it'd be great to make sure
Yes, of course.
we get that. Yeah, so I'm concerned about I was clear about the instructional facilitators.
Mhm.
I want to make sure that we are fully transparent in terms of the positions that we're eliminating. I don't recall academic interventionists. I would have stood up for that. And so are you saying that they were also told that their position is being eliminated?
Ms. Dorsey, yes, if you could provide an answer for that as well as even sharing the documentation that we've had for this endeavor.
So, yes, they were in the same meeting as the academic
They were.
interventionists. So there was a meeting with the facilitators and interventionists together. It was one meeting with two different classifications. And in the HR committee meeting, we shared the vacancies and we shared the certifications for all of our teachers. And looking at that, we had 7 teachers who were highly qualified that were not in classrooms. So we discussed how to get more certificated teachers in classrooms by placing those teachers in classrooms. And I can send you the document that we used. And then we talked about the vacancies and what they may fill.
That
But we-
document, is that something you will share with us, or is that something you share with us?
I have already
before?
shared it, yeah.
I don't recall ever having a
With the
conversation
HR
about
committee. Yeah, I
academic
shared it with the HR committee
interventionists.
and it was shared, yeah.
Yeah, and the committee as a whole too.
Yeah,
wasn't it?
a committee, yeah, all of that was shared. But I can certainly reshare it. But
So
it was
you're
definitely
saying
shared.
the
And I
document that
presented it, remember, on the
indicated,
community HR meeting. Pardon me, I'm sorry, Trustee Gavin.
you're saying that there was a document that you submitted to the full board that you were eliminating the academic interventionist
Yeah,
position?
they were part of the same information that I presented to the HR committee. Those members, it was my understanding that when it goes to the members of the committee, that they then present it to the board. But it was always shared with everybody.
Oh, I would, yeah, just in a presuming positive intentions, I would look forward to seeing that document.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll say this real quick. I do have about 9 seconds. I'm hoping that we will make sure that even if we're eliminating positions, even if we're doing these transitions, that we're doing this with care and concern for how this is impacting our staff, our people. They are human beings, they are valuable, and I just want to make sure that before we eliminate, we find out what is the value, what are they providing, before we make decisions based on numbers.
Madam President, may I reply? Sure. I just want to indicate that their value was so high, we asked for their expertise in the classroom. To have certified teachers outside of the classroom when we have a teacher shortage crisis in this district, even before, so we're at the juncture now, we have 18, and that's with those certified teachers going into the classroom. And then we have non-certified teachers, we're literally at half and half. Half the district is non-certified. So it is because of their value and them being certified that we made the tough call that I'm okay with have them go into the classroom and provide tier 1, tier 2, and tier 3 instruction. Academic interventionists, they handle tier 2 and possibly predominantly tier 3 instruction to help students close gaps. But a certified teacher going in the classroom full time doesn't work with small groups. They work with class size students all day, every day to help us provide instruction to tier 1, our kids that are on level, close, and beyond. So tier 1, tier 2, tier 3, they're in PLCs, helping cultivate their craft. They're full time. So because I cared about what students need and the value of the teachers, that's why I made the very difficult decision to have them transition from being outside of the classroom, working with a small handful of students here and there, to going into the classroom and helping more students for our parents and the students that we serve inside the classroom on a full-time basis. That's why I made the decision, and we did it together as a collaborative to make sure that for every classroom, if we had someone in this district that had a certificate that could go in the classroom and help 30, 40, 50 students versus say 12 or 18, then that was the decision I was comfortable with as an educational leader myself. So I just want to make sure I put that out there.
Secretary Triplett.
You know, I've been saying this for some time. I always wanted to know who the interventionists were assisting. Substitute teachers? So I just don't understand the uproar or being upset when we have certified teachers in this district that's working in different capacities and we have vacancies. It just never made sense to me. So this is not my first time saying it. And it's not, it's not personal. I wouldn't have ever, I just can't even imagine us having all of these various positions. And I was concerned when some of them were actually pulled out of the classroom and placed into these spaces with no one to replace them. It just did not make sense to me. So change is difficult and it's necessary, and it is not personal. Our goal is to get qualified, certified teachers in our classrooms, and one thing for sure and two things for certain. If nothing else, if they were academic interventionists and in the other roles and what have you, they know our district, they know our school, and they feel right in. So I don't think there was any change with salaries or anything. So I'm happy, and I'm quite sure that does not mean that they don't have an opportunity to move in other spaces and places, but I just never quite understood it from the beginning, that we had so many people supporting substitute, supporting small groups, and we got certified teachers that were supporting again. So I'm excited. I know it is uncomfortable, but I am excited in the direction that we are moving. And for the first time in a long time, instruction is at the forefront of every decision because we are an educational institution. This has nothing to do with our finances. We've had all of those different things, but I have not heard education addressed in my tenure on this board in the manner in which it's being addressed right now. Thank you.
Thank you. I would just like to, my sentiments are very closely aligned with Secretary Triplett's. I would anticipate that within a school district, the instructional facilitators and the academic interventionists were placed into those positions because they were highly qualified as teachers. That's what one would expect. And so if these are the individuals that are qualified to intervene or give the instructional facilitation in the supportive manner that they have, then they should be overly qualified and able to get in and give our kids the support that they need from within the classroom, because that is where the gap is. And so I understand, like Secretary Triplett said, is that, sometimes change is uncomfortable. It's not personal, but sometimes we have to do what's in the best interest of the whole body and not just consider individual preferences. And I'm not saying this just because I'm at the board table. If you are around me or talk to me, then you know that I went from an executive leadership position in a main office to Harbor Towers doing management, which is completely different than what I went there for, but it was what my agency needed. And I did it willingly, because who better to send into Harbor Towers than the executive leader that had done a strategic plan for the building. So sometimes change is uncomfortable, but if you have that skill set to provide what your agency or your company needs, then we applaud individuals stepping in that manner. So I just want to say thank you all for completing the HR audit, seeing where our gaps are. And what I see is you all looking at the assets that we had in our staff, kind of asset mapping our district and determining where those strengths of those assets would be best aligned. And so I commend you all for making that effort. I wish that all of staff were able to see it in that manner. I understand that we see things differently, but I just want to indicate that I support the decision to do so in the best interest of what the students needed within the classroom. I'll open the floor if there's any other comments. If it's not, from anyone who hasn't spoken. If not, you have one wrap up.
I just want to add, to humanize this, I did 3 different videos leading up to and during the launch of these teachers going back into the classroom. So I understand the discomfort. I understand the anxiety and stress, but these are the best of the teachers that we have. I couldn't in good conscience have a substitute in the classroom, inexperienced, uncertified, and then walk around the building and see multiple people who are not only certified, but are considered the best of the lot that we have, and not have them join the fight to ensure that our students are getting the best quality instruction that we can provide for them. So I understand the discomfort, but the decisions that were made with the students at the center for what was needed for them. Admittedly, at the discomfort for adults, but the students deserve certified teachers in their classrooms. So that's why the decision was made.
Secretary Triplett, please call the vote.
President Robinson,
Yes.
Vice President Bowens,
Yes.
Secretary Triplett, yes. Trustee Rocket Martin, Trustee Gavin,
Yes.
Trustee Doyle,
Yes.
motion carried.
All right. Up next, we have staff report H2, and then I just need to step out for a brief second, Vice President Bowens, if you could chair very briefly. Yeah, you guys have the floor to continue with your HR report.
Okay, this is our, are you gonna go, Dr. Griffin?
Yeah.
Okay.
Employment of staff, date October 14th, 2025, submitting for board consideration to approve the employment of staff in accordance with the revised school code and other general laws of Michigan. Fact and analysis under section 1120 of Title I, Part A, requires a participating local education agency to provide eligible children attending private elementary and secondary schools, their teachers, and their families with Title I services or other benefits that are equitable to those provided to eligible public school children, their teachers, and their families. Policy reference 2261, Title I Services, 3120, 4120, Employment of Professional Support Staff. Strategic plan goal reference, personnel leadership, Benton Harbor area schools will recruit, hire, develop, and retain the best staff to improve student outcomes. Martindale Tracy, paraprofessional / health instructor, River of Life. Title I, effective date 9/24/2025. Recommended action that the Benton Harbor Area Schools Board of Education votes to approve the employment of the aforementioned staff. I need to step out as well. Excuse me.
Okay, is there a motion on the floor to approve staff report H3?
I so move.
H3 or H2?
H2.
Oh, sorry, mine is H2, sorry, H2.
Support.
A motion has been approved by Secretary Triplett, second by Trustee Doyle. Is there any questions or comments? Oh, sorry.
I do have to say this. I struggle with this every time I see us being responsible. And I understand what it is legally by law from title when we're paying for people at other schools. That bothers me. There is nothing within my spirit or my bone that ever think anything is better than ours. I think our kids deserve the very, very best. I've never looked at it any other way. Everybody from 1485 Union attended, graduated, and supported Ben Harbor area schools. Grandchildren, first generation, second generation, and now we're going on our third generation. I don't take this stuff lightly. I don't get paid for this. The Board of Education, none of us get one dime, and many people think that we get paid. We don't. I have not been home from work, so I don't think there's anybody any more exhausted than I am. But I'm committed to Benton Harbor area schools. I just wanted to put that out there, and I want to say it every time. Trustee Gavin was the one that put this fire under me when she first got on the board about us, this money going to other places, but I just want to put that at the forefront just for the record. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Secretary Triplett. Is there any other questions or concerns? Therefore, being none, you please call for the vote?
Vice President Bowens,
Yes.
Secretary Triplett, yes. Trustee Rocket Martin, Trustee Gavin, Trustee Doyle.
Yes. Yes.
Motion carried.
Thank you, Secretary Triplett. We now come to staff report H3, and I apologize. And this is to improve the employment of staff in accordance with the revised school code and other general laws of Michigan. Facts and analysis. It is recommended that the Board of Education approve the superintendent's recommendation for the hire of the following personnel. Policy reference 3120/4120, employment of professional support staff. Strategic plan goal reference, personal leadership. Benton Harbor area schools will recruit, hire, develop, and retain the best staff to improve student outcomes. Whereas the new hire mentioned is Regina Strover as our assistant principal at Benton Harbor High School. The funding source will be general funds, effective date September 23rd of 2025. Recommended action that the Benton Harbor Area Schools Board of Education votes to approve the employment of the aforementioned staff. Approved for presentation to the board by Dr. Simone Griffin. Is there any questions I'm sorry, can I have a motion to approve staff report H3?
I so move.
Second.
It's been moved by Secretary Triplett, second by Trustee Gavin. Is there any questions or comments? Therefore, being none, can we? Sorry.
Vice President Bowens, I'm excited to see Dr. Drother in this capacity, and looking forward to what she will bring to the table for our students here at Benton Harbor High School. I've seen her with her passion. I've seen her, had the opportunity to see her in the classroom. I was kind of concerned they're going to take our powerful English teacher out of the classroom. But
Teachers.
ma'am. So she still teaches, and she's still teaching. I can see her just being that kind of person to even be willing to do that because of her love and her passion for our students and for our district. So I'm very excited and in supporting this recommendation.
Thank you. I will say, I seen on Facebook, who's gonna teach hip hop? And I was like, oh, snap. So I'm glad to hear she's doing both. Trustee Gavin, is that your hand up down there?
Yes, thank you. I just wanted clarity. Dr. Griffin, you said that Dr. Struthers is still teaching?
Yeah, I think she teaches one class. I'll have to find out for sure. But yes, she does. Still does a little bit of teaching for us. I'll find out the exact classes. Dr. Foster shared that with me earlier today.
Okay, I think
Is that
that's
correct?
amazing that
Yeah, she still teaches.
Dr. Struthers is taking the position and agreed to still teach in the classroom. She's such just a
I agree.
phenomenal
She's amazing.
human being.
Yeah, and she's
um,
flexible too.
To be
Yeah.
doing both and
Yeah.
then just also
Mm-hmm.
just seeing her in action is something to see. So I'm very
Yeah.
supportive of this new hire.
Thank you.
Please make a note that it is 6:37 and the board president is taking back over.
9:37.
9:37.
Oh, 9:37. I'm sorry.
Hey, where are we? I'm sorry, guys.
We are, it's been second by Secretary Triplett and I'm sorry, the motion was by Secretary Triplett, second by Trustee Gavin. We're voting on the assistant principal of placing Regina Stroke there.
Okay.
Everybody has made their comments, so you can call for the vote.
Secretary Triplett, please call the vote.
President Robinson,
Yes.
Vice President Bowen,
Yes.
Secretary Triplett, yes. Trustee Rocket Martin, Trustee Gavin,
Yes.
Trustee Doyle,
Yes.
motion carry.
All right, so congratulations. We're gonna move forward, teaching and learning. Dr. Griffin, will you be presenting staff report?
Yes.
T1, all right, you have the floor.
Okay. All right. Colleagues, just bear with me. One of the things, let me just kind of narrate this with, that we have talked about in the past is the lack of transparency and inclusion and belonging of our teachers at the table around the purchase of curriculum. That being said, I shared with you guys prior to this meeting in our Google Classroom, some of the concerns that they had was with McGraw-Hill. Remember, we purchased McGraw-Hill, they had purchased a multi-year contract with them, and it only provides curriculum for tier 2, tier 3 students that fall in the tier 2 and tier 3 categories. We tried to make it fit. Dr. Foster did everything she could besides twisting into a pretzel. Ultimately, we had a meeting with our union president, Ms. Terrell, and vice president, Ms. Wilson, who shared major concerns around McGraw-Hill and the purchase for K-5 for ELA and our tier 1. And so with that, I said, well, I just said very plain and bluntly, what would you like to happen? And they were comfortable with Savas. And so I told them I would bite the bullet and go for Savas. So they would, at each of these grade levels, as you can see here, we got a very good deal for grades K-5 for tier 1 grade level instruction for the kids, to make sure that we have standards-based instruction, learning and assessment for those grade levels. So that's why we have this proposal here. And then for the Spanish portion for our ELO learners, and then also the partnership proposal to get the support for Fairplain East, where we have the largest percentage of our ELO learners at that site. So I wanted to make sure I put out there, and then let me talk about the alignment of why Savas, and essentially my view, very briefly. It aligns, my view, Savas is the company, my view is the curriculum that's grade level 1 through 5. And it is in alignment with our state mandate around letters. You know, letters is a professional learning course that provides teachers knowledge of the science of reading across phonological awareness, phonics, spelling, fluency, vocabulary, oral language, comprehension, writing, and assessment. It's not a core curriculum though. But what Savas offers, it offers that core ELA curriculum, core ELA programs, My View Literacy K-5, which is what we're getting. It positions My View as science of reading informed with daily foundational skills instruction. Words Their Way supply structured word study, phonics practice, and independent reviews rate my view and my perspectives highly for standards alignment and usability. Bottom line is Letters provides the why and the what. Savas are my view, the curriculum that's before you tonight. Programs can implement the how in the classrooms. Overall, the alignment is very, very strong between the two as far our foundational skills for phonics, spelling, vocabulary, comprehension, routines, and assessment. So in short, Letters is the why and the what, which is how we were taught when we were younger, the old school, that L makes the L sound, like sight words, etc. But the curriculum that helps to teach it, the how portion, comes through Savas and My View, which is what is before you with the stamp of our union president and vice president, the teachers union, to ensure that it covers our K-1 through 5 students in our schools. And then Savas, the two portions there for Savas learning for the Spanish curriculum and the partnership proposal helps to cover the ELL students that we serve. So I'll stop there as the introduction and rationale for why this curriculum. Yes, we've had other curriculum in the past, but they only deal with the students that are not on grade level and don't provide that tier 1. And this is stamped by our union representatives to provide that for our students in K-5.
Okay, proceed with reading T1.
Yep.
Staff report T1.
Staff report T1. Subject Savas K-5 ELL Tier 1, date October 14th. Reason for board consideration. The Board of Education shall approve textbooks or contracts used as part of the educational program of the district. Purchases over 31,321 need board approval according to the most recent State of Michigan Department of Education threshold. Fact and analysis textbook quote, for purposes of this policy shall mean the principal source of instructional material for any course, any given course of study in whatever form the material may be presented. That is available or distributed to every student enrolled in the course. The district received a 6-year proposal from Savas Learning Company for adoption of the My View Literacy K-5 core program, which includes both print and digital student services, literacy and dyslexia screeners, book club libraries, and extensive no-cost teacher supports. Examples, the teacher edition of foundational skills kits, the manipulative and intervention tools where needed. The package also provides 44,600 in professional development to support implementation and coaching. The total cost is 288,215, which includes 268,100 in program and professional development source resources, plus 20,115 for shipping, which with more than 96,000 in supplemental materials provided at no additional cost. Policy reference 6320 purchasing, policy number 2510 adoption of textbooks, funding source general funds, strategic plan reference academics. Benton Harbor area schools will increase student achievement as measured on local, state, and national assessments. Recommended action that the Benton Harbor Area Schools Board of Education votes to approve the purchase of the My View Literacy K-5 core print and digital package from Savas Learning Company at a total of $288,215.
Is there a motion to approve staff report T1?
I make a motion that we approve staff report T1.
Is there a second or support?
I support.
The motion has been made by Vice President Bowens and supported by Secretary Triplett. Questions, comments, concerns? Can you speak in your mic?
Interventions program.
It's tier 1. We don't really say, okay, so I'll go old school Basil. Yes, that's grade level, tier 1. That we're supposed to provide students no matter where they fall, tier 1, tier 2, tier 3. Even students that fall in tier 2 and tier 3 have to be exposed to tier 1 instruction because that's the grade level instruction.
Secretary Triplett.
You know, I've sat here for some time now in silence when it comes to instruction and academics. And it's professionally offensive that we have allowed people to come in here and play games and play in our face and most definitely play with our kids' education. All of these are resources. The teachers, from what we have said here and we've ordered for them, they have everything that they need. They should have everything that they need if they are teachers. It is time out. This is my last time just voting for people to have stuff. I feel bad for our teachers that they have not been to the table. I feel bad for our superintendent, our new superintendent to have to come in and endure what she has had to endure. Some things we can say and some things we cannot say. But it is time. Those excuses are done. I'm glad that the union, the president of the union, the assistant president, the people, the teachers have everything that they need in order to teach our kids. Because I'm sick of people sitting up in here with these snide smirks on their face and working in this district, benefiting off the back of our children in this district when it comes to their paychecks and everything else. And then our kids are getting played with. I've had enough of adult issues. It is time for our kids to get their very, very best. So I'm glad to hear that the president of the union and the teachers support this.
There's no other comments. Secretary Triplett, can you call the vote for staff report T1?
President Robinson,
Yes.
Vice President Bowens. Yes. Secretary Triplett, yes. Trustee Rocket Martin. Trustee Gavin.
Yes.
Trustee Doyle.
Yes.
Motion carries.
All right, Dr. Griffin, you can just read it.
Yep.
T2.
Yep, T2, subject Sabas Autentico Spanish curriculum, date October 14th. Reason for board consideration, the Board of Education shall approve all textbooks used as part of the educational program of this district. Fact and analysis textbook, quote unquote, for purposes of this policy shall mean the principal source of instructional material for any given course of study in whatever form the material may be presented that is available or distributed to every student enrolled in the course. The purpose of this purchase is to provide Ben Harbor area schools with the Autentico Spanish curriculum for Tier 1 and Tier 2, which includes both student and teachers editions, along with a 6-year digital courseware license to support world language instruction. The package also includes a professional development component to ensure staff are properly trained in program implementation. The total cost of $11,134.20, which covers $9,615 for instructional materials, $750 for professional development, and $769.20 in shipping and handling. Policy reference, policy number 2510, adoption of textbooks, funding source, general funds, strategic plan reference, academics, Ben Harbor area schools will increase student achievement as measured on local, state, and national assessments. Recommended action that the Ben Harbor area schools Board of Education approve the purchase of Autentico Tier 1 and Tier 2 Spanish curriculum from Savas Learning Company in the total amount of $11,134.20 to support the enhancement of the district's world language program.
Is there a motion to approve staff report T2?
I so move.
Is there-
Support.
The motion has been made by Secretary Triplett and supported by Vice President Bowens. Any questions, comments, or concerns? Hearing none. Secretary Triplett?
President Robinson.
Yes.
Vice President Bowens.
Yes.
Secretary Triplett, yes. Trustee Rocket Martin. Trustee Gavin.
Yes.
Trustee Doyle.
Yes.
Motion carries.
All right, our last item of vote for this evening is Craco Partnership Proposal. Staff report T3. I believe this is also a new item, correct? Okay, and then you may have to put it in layman's terms, break it down on the level of a second grader, how this is different from what we have and what we've approved today.
This portion, let me just get my ears, my eyes, and I put that's how tired I am. I said my ears. This curriculum is all about the ability for teachers to be able to join this nationwide network and get the support they need, not just the teachers, but paraprofessionals. The paraprofessional RBT support services include the in-person English speaking or bilingual paraprofessionals, access to the curriculum and resources, professional development, training and mentorship, training specific to ELL for special education, curriculum and instructional support. So this is for our paraprofessionals. They are individuals who aim to grow as professionals in the field of education and have committed themselves to taking the essential part of their journey. So this is to support our paraprofessionals and all of the other support people that work with our ELL population to work with them. It's a multi-step process. They help us to hire paraprofessionals that are ELL certified. And if you'll look on page 5, it has a frequently asked questions. Do they have state certified teachers in their program? Yes. They run background checks? Yes. And they train and support our teachers? Yes, but they also follow the standards. They complete professional development and they work with the teachers to partner with them before they ever start to work in the classroom. So this is a pipeline for us to get additional ELL teachers as we work to recruit because that's the largest population that we have over at Fairplain. But we also are working to provide this through, I think it's a grant. I want to say Title I, where in this grant, we get this and we get this this service through this organization. So I can provide that additional stuff with you, information with you as well. So the difference is this certification oversight and provides a pipeline for another teacher. So there's curriculum and then there's the teacher. CRACO, the teacher, curriculum, SAVIS. If you'll turn to page 7, our certification support and oversight. We work endlessly to attract individuals who are dedicated, passionate, and experienced. Our talent pool consists of both certified and non-certified individuals. Schools and districts that require certification will be matched with individuals. So this is the proximity learning for ELL. Of any of the 3 certifications, we ensure compliance and fulfillment of certification at any and all. So they provide us with the ELL staff. Their approach and methodology is grounded in development and age appropriateness, driven by student-centered process, oriented and project-based learning. They strive to have our students learn in meaningful ways that incorporate and embrace social-emotional learning, diversity, and inclusion. Of course, they adhere to all state and national standards.
Can you present staff report T3? Thank you for providing the overview.
Oh, I make a motion to staff to report T3.
Page 12.
All right, and that recommended action for the record is that the Benton Harbor Area Schools Board of Education approve entering into an agreement with CRACO for instructional staffing and support services, selecting either the $90,000 annual option for a teacher schedule of 8 a.m. to 3:30 p.m. or the $97,500 annual option for a schedule of 7:30 to 4 p.m. as determined by district needs and administration. The motion has been made by Vice President Bowens. Is there a second or support?
I support.
The motion has been made by Vice President Bowens and supported by Secretary Triplett. Questions, comments? Vice President Bowens?
Ooh. I believe the Clark sisters sing a song, "I'm Looking for a Miracle," and I'm trusting you, Dr. Griffin. I'm trusting you, and I'm putting my faith in this program and you, and I'm expecting great things. I'm supporting it, so.
Thank you.
Any other comments? The only thing that I will add for the sake of time, I know I've referenced this before, and I think, and I'm pretty sure you and Dr. Foster was here about me previously. My concern has always been the amount that we invest and how it's used, which I've shared with you all.
Yes, of course.
I would like if you all could do us the honor of giving us some type of template that shows us how all of this pieces together.
Yes, I can certainly
The
do
new
that.
items purchased and what we currently have. I know that the previous administration started a template, but I think they both, the superintendent shared one version with me and the director of academics thought another version would be better to share with me. So it never quite got to the board table. But I think the board needs to see how all the pieces of the puzzle fit together. And that would probably give us a little bit more comfort with what we have and how it works cohesively together?
Yes, of course. It would be my pleasure to do so.
Okay.
So that I'm not judged for my predecessors.
No, I'm not, and I'm not, we're not doing that.
I-
We just
it's
never
okay.
got the district, you came in with the district having items.
Mhm.
Some of those items you're using, some of the
Yeah.
items you're
Yeah.
investing in new
Correct.
items. We still, prior to you being here, have no idea how, what all we've purchased
I see
works.
what you're saying.
So not necessarily judging you based on them, but just trying to get an understanding of the support and your leadership that we're giving you in the investment in the dollars as one cohesive picture.
You got it.
Okay.
It would be my pleasure to do so.
All right. If there's no other questions or comments, Secretary Triplett, can you please go ahead?
Oh, so we're getting half of what you're saying down here.
Okay, sorry about that.
This, we would be hiring paraprofessionals, right?
A teacher, ELL, but an ELL teacher. They're gonna help us recruit an ELL teacher. Yes, ELL. So these last two portions was the curriculum, kind of like Savis or my view, but it's the Spanish portion. So we did the ELA portion and this is the Spanish portion. And the proximity, that covers giving us the teacher, and CRACO covers helping us get the ELL teacher. It's even harder to get a SPED teacher and an ELL teacher in those specialties. But if you all are not comfortable, I can provide that and we can table it until the next meeting.
No, I don't think it's that we're not comfortable. I think everybody is, because of the motion made and the support given, I think that I would guess that the support is there. We just want to see it
Absolutely.
in a visual.
You absolutely,
Okay.
absolutely, I can provide that to give you a sense of confidence and comfort in the purchases.
Okay.
Madam President.
Yes,
One
sir.
of the things, I keep hearing, I'm not responsible for what happened prior to, or no one's trying to offend anybody or this and that and the other. The bottom line, when we hired a superintendent, the superintendent is responsible for everything prior, right now, and future of this district. If we had to evaluate right now, the superintendent will be evaluated on the 30 days or the 20 days that she's been here and inherited that data coming into this district. We are moving forward. Everybody is responsible for Ben Harbor Area School. And we need to move forward. We need to eliminate all of that stuff. Whoever's sitting at the helm, all of that is there. Bottom line. And so a lot of research and stuff was presented to us that everybody knew what was happening here in the school district. And so we need to move forward and we need to get this job done, and nobody need to be around here walking on eggshells about how they feel, any questions that we ask at this table from anybody in the school district, not anyone. The bottom line is we've said it enough. We have spent loads and loads and loads of money. We have spent hundreds and thousands of dollars on textbooks and systems and knew this and knew that and knew this. I need to see some results. We need to see some plan of actions put in place. How are we going to move forward? That's what I want to see. And I have all the confidence in the world that we selected a superintendent that can do just that. Thank you.
Secretary Triplett, can you please call the vote for staff reports T3?
President Robinson,
Yes.
Vice President Bowen,
Yes.
Secretary Triplett, yes. Trustee Rocket Martin, Trustee Gavin,
Yes.
Trustee Doyle,
Yes.
motion carried.
All right. Only old business I have is just a reminder that we have our annual leadership conference coming up. Is at next weekend. I believe all of us registered to attend at least one day.
Gotta put that at least one day.
So it'll be fair. I look forward to seeing us there collectively and collaboratively, and we'll have to make sure that we get a schedule together for the day that we'll be all there as a group so that we can do dinner together or figure out what that day looks like. Rocket Martin.
22nd, don't forget, out at the BHAS School Board Association, education advocacy, legislators, they're people too. 6:30 to 8:30, it'll be held at the Barry and Risa Conference Room. It's a free event. They did ask us to register by October 17th, but all are welcome, and I would hope to see my board there. So this is a chance to deal with legislation, especially when they're trying to get budgets and stuff together in Lansing and other school business, that we can, be a part of that. So that's October 17th, which is a Wednesday, from 6:30 to 8:30.
Thank you. Trustee Gavin, old business or new business?
I would say old business.
Okay.
I'm wondering if we can revisit staff report H1, if we can just take a look at an email. It looks like there needs to be a correction. Maybe we just need to make that correction and vote on that, if that's how that works. Under the H1, staff report H1 under human resources. Is there a correction that needs to be made, or under Jeffrey McCoy?
Oh, okay. So we have, hold on.
Is this regarding the gentleman that
Here,
rescinded this morning?
No, Mr. McCoy indicated his resignation date was November 3rd, not October 10th.
So he reached out to me since I've been here. We're meeting tomorrow for the exit interview, and we'll discuss it at that time. I sent that to him via email.
Is it this date? Because
I'll confirm it tomorrow.
that's in the past and he's already been working. So it couldn't be October 10th.
Yeah, I'll correct it.
But we have to vote on it through the chair. We have to vote on it, right?
Mr. McCoy, 10/10/25. Okay. All right. So, and then we have an email dated October 9th showing a November 3rd resignation. So we would need to make that amendment.
So do
Is
we,
it possible to honor what he submitted to HR?
I plan on asking for a written letter of resignation with an original signature on it. So I can bring a correction next week, next board meeting, or we can amend it in your minutes tonight.
Okay, so how about what we do is we're gonna take a vote with staff report H1 removing Mr. McCoy, if there's no objections from the board.
Or-
And then we can come back at our work session and make a vote on his report with the correct resignation date once you've had an opportunity to meet with him. Does that sound okay with you? Okay, I wasn't sure if the side talking at the table was some input that Vice President Bowens wanted to make on the mic. Were you
I
trying-
support whatever the board supports.
Okay, Trustee Gavin?
Yeah, quick clarifying question. So if they submit their resignation via email, it's not considered a resignation until they send something else in with a signature?
So generally, a resignation is an original signature. It's not via email. It can be signed and sent to us via email, but you have a signature on it.
Got you. Okay.
so
I'm thinking maybe we need a resignation policy so that everybody knows what it is, because it seems like there is some confusion around what how to submit a resignation officially.
I have a question about the resignation too. So a person, I think one thing too, that we do have a director of human resources that know human resources, that know human resource law, that's not just up in here playing, and people are playing. If you want to, there's a way that they resign. There's a formal way to do it. The law requires this, and we've had people that have not, and we've experienced it. And because we've experienced it, we have lawsuits and we have hundreds of thousands of dollars in investigation of people did not know protocol, policy, and procedure. And so I think this is one thing. I just walk in and say, well, I resign. Okay, you got to put something down on paper. and you need to have a signature or it's not official. So I'm going to, for myself, I'm going to support what the Director of Human Resources is saying, the documentation that's being presented, and make sure that we are within the legal ramifications. And that's a very uncomfortable piece for us because just like we're saying, we're nervous about almost everything. But I feel confident enough in the Human Resource Director to make sure that she is definitely making sure that we're in compliance and we are operating under the law and that she has our best interests at heart. So I guess tonight, do we need to go back in?
We just need to make we just need to revote on staff report H1 with the amendment of removing Mr. McCoy.
Yeah, because he on there it says the 10th. Is that not correct?
No, he sent an email October 9th
Mm-hmm.
saying his date would be November 3rd. And per her statement, she hasn't met with him to get the written official resignation. So it wouldn't be appropriate to have him on the report. So at this time, to keep us moving, I'll ask, we're noting for the record while we are taking a revote on staff report H1. Is there a motion to approve staff report H1 with the amendment of tabling Mr. Jeffrey McCoy?
Point of clarity.
Yes, ma'am.
I definitely did not come here to play with anybody. I just asking real questions.
Mhm.
And so I would like what I'm saying to be treated as such. If Mr. McCoy's resignation is dated November 3rd, and that resignation made it to this list for October 10th, why is it that October 10th is sufficient, but not the date that he gave?
No, I'm saying remove him from the
No,
thing.
I
You-
understand what you're saying, but what I'm trying to understand is why is it that if he gave November 3rd and he's still working and it's October 14th, why was the resignation that he provided not sufficient? And we now have to table as opposed to accept the date that he gave, when the way he gave it initially was enough to make it to the board table.
So there was an error made, and I'm just working, there's an error made, and I'm working to just fix it. So I'm training staff, working through that. So again, I can correct it. It was an honest error.
Okay, the motion was made by Bowens. Was that correct?
No,
Did
but
we
I
have
make a motion. I make a motion that we table Jeffrey McCoy from the resignation. No, I make a motion that we amend the report for HR with the layoffs. I mean, the
staff report
staff
H1 with the
report.
amendment of Mr.
Yeah.
McCoy? Is there a second or support to that?
I support.
Okay, the motion has been made by Vice President Bowens and supported by Secretary Triplett that we approve staff report H1 with the amendment to table or temporarily remove Mr. McCoy, who we anticipate will be brought back to us at our work session meeting. If there's no other questions, comments, or concerns, Secretary Triplett, can you take the vote for staff report H1?
President Robinson,
Yes.
Vice President Bowens,
Yes.
Secretary Triplett, yes. Trustee Rocket Martin,
Yes.
Trustee Gavin,
Yes.
Trustee Doyle,
Yes.
motion carried.
All right, and Ms. Singer, I know you have it on the video, but we want to make sure that we do notate in the minutes that we took the vote twice and why. Okay. No, ma'am. No, ma'am. Sorry. Was it old business or new business?
Suggestion.
Can you do it in your closing comment?
Yeah, I'll do it.
Okay. Anybody have actual new business? All right, open public comment. Can we please get the timer set? Do you need me to reread the statement? Or are you good?
I don't need you to.
Okay.
I'm just making my comment on the new hire for third party. I'm not here about preserving a position. I understand that the district has to do what it has to do, and it's not personal. You eliminated my position. I knew what was happening 3 weeks before it actually happened, based on all the things that we were getting. And so I made the decision to depart from the district because I cannot handle full classroom teaching with my diagnosis. My diagnosis is chronic heart failure with reduced ejection fraction rate, which means that my heart functions less than 0.5% of what you all's function. So stress exacerbates it. I've had a left ventricular thrombosis, blood clot in my heart. I've had mini stroke, neuromatic mitral valve regurgitation. So when I'm walking, the blood doesn't flow to my limbs as it should. And so I get weighed down. I can't breathe as much as I can't breathe. I can't walk good. I'm exhausted. And so dealing with 25 kids, I've done it for 4 years in the classroom. Every year I've been hospitalized for extended times because of it, because I've been here showing up for our kids. And so there are multiple accommodations on my record, which include no more kids than 15 at a time to reduce stress, or virtual work, or parapro in the classroom. And my principal, Ms. Shannon Rockett, Principal Ryan Goebel, and Elizabeth Gale, they've all accommodated me down through the years to see what works and what didn't work. Small group teaching through academic interventionists was the best effective thing to keep me doing my purpose, which is teaching kids. So when that was eliminated, physically, I just can't do it. I can have cardiac arrest, dealing with expectations, dealing with all the demands of my job. And so I wasn't expecting to come here today to put this on spotlight. I asked HR to resolve this almost 3 weeks ago when I gave my extended resignation explanation, and the reason why I couldn't commit to a 2 weeks notice because I was in heart failure at that very moment. And a few days later, I was in the hospital for 4 days while they tried to resolve what's happening with me. So I'm not here to argue about a position. I understand. I just wanted to depart and have my record be in good standards so I can be recommended for the third-party position through title, just like you recommended my colleague, Ms. Tracy Martindale, but my name was not on that list today. When I asked HR to deal with this 3 weeks ago, they didn't handle it. So I had to come here and I had to advocate for myself, and I had to defend my namesake, because I just don't understand how I could be in heart failure and be having expected to give a 2 weeks notice and then be in the hospital after that and be almost, what do you call it? I won't say blackballed or I'm being punished for my decision that I made in medical duress. So I'm asking, superintendent has already approached me. She says she'll look into it. I hope you all read my letter, my exit statement, because nobody sent me an exit interview for me to even fill out to my email address. I would have gladly done it. Nobody sent it. So I'm gonna end with that. Dr. Griffin has my information. You all have my letter that I sent to HR on 9/26 when I was in the hospital. I sent that letter from the hospital. And nobody's responded because I don't know. So I'm here to plead my case, and hopefully you all will get back to me, and y'all have a good night.
Thank you. Anyone else for public comment? All right, moving on. Dr. Griffin, do you have any comments this evening that you would like to make? Any announcements or comments? Yeah, I thought you shook your head no.
I'm sick. I thought it is still okay. Just very briefly, very briefly.
Okay.
I just wanted to thank you. My name's Chris Smith. I'm a Spanish teacher at the high school. I just wanted to comment as I was learning about just paying attention to the agenda. I very much appreciate it's very important topics. I recognize the benefit of having a certified teacher in the classroom. And so I personally worked under EduStaff my first year. I worked for 2 years under the TNR program, and now I operate under an interim certification. I just wanted to ask to clarify if it's okay. You don't necessarily have to answer it right here. It's just I just something I wanted to share is like a question I was going to pay attention to. and I know the communication will come out for me, well, it was said, and I apologize that I may have missed it. That's my fault. Will a certified virtual teacher be placed in a classroom where a non-certified BHAS employed teacher is currently positioned? So that would be like those that are in the TNT, TNR, or in my situation, interim certified teacher position. And then just thinking about changing expectations for job role, as has already been discussed. So that's my comment question. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, Dr. Griffin, do you have any announcements or comments this evening?
No.
All right. Trustee Gavin.
I knew I would be first tonight. I want to thank everybody who came out and who were available on Zoom. I think that the concerns that come up is way deeper than comfort. And when I speak, it's to culture and climate, it's to the trauma of our community. It's real. And I don't expect everybody to see it, to acknowledge it. And when I speak to how important it is to value our staff, I say that not because I want people to just be comfortable. I say it because I look at the entire picture of what it takes to run a district, not from the perspective of a superintendent, because I'm not qualified to be a superintendent, but from the perspective of a board member, a parent, a former teacher, a former sub who's worked in dang near every building that we have currently, permanent in each building. So I've seen different purviews. And so sometimes a decision makes sense on paper that doesn't make sense in life. And when I listen to Ms. Williams' story, I feel like we could have created a win-win situation, and I'm prepared to move forward, and I respect that. I just would hope that we would think about, we had a person who was working on improving test scores and who was able to work within the accommodations that she needed. I think we could have had a win-win, especially with us purchasing this program that is purchasing access to certified teachers. I just ask that we look at the human aspect on a case-by-case basis. And before we allow positions to be eliminated, we have that high layer of transparency and we start talking to these people to find out exactly what they did, what they contributed, and how it works in the bigger picture. Thank you.
Trustee Doyle.
I don't have nothing tonight.
Trustee Raquel Martin.
Yes, the suggestion was going to be for HR, perhaps there could be some training, like on one of the training dates that you could, have a group, those teachers get together to know what you know some of what you know. HR knows it, but that doesn't necessarily mean the teachers know or the people know, what they have to do. I can remember the district would even let the attorney come in and talk to the teachers to tell them the do's and don'ts and their rights. So, that might help eliminate some of the disconnect between HR and the staff. Also, I look at decision-making. It is difficult, but I've always been one to do it like this. If I make a decision, and I'm not saying that hasn't been done, I tend to, and that's just me, I look at all the aspects of it, of the decision that I'm making. It's almost like when you take medicine to fix one thing, You take that same medicine and you can read the little notes that they put on it, but it may do this, it may do that, it may cause this, it may cause that, it may cause this, and you're trying to fix one thing, but at the same time, the thing that is messing up other things. So, I'm kind of like, Ms. Gavin, I too would like for us to, when we make decisions, really just take a look. And you might have to go in and actually see how that decision has impacted, the population of people that we serve. And I also want to say this, and I'm done. I feel like that, when we make comments at the board, we should be able to make them freely without thinking we have to have a lecture or, or it's not a disagreement, but I think we should be able to say what we want to say and say it freely. I'm done.
All right, Secretary Triplett.
Thank you. Like I say to my colleagues that I know this is a tough time. But we're not new to this. We've been doing this thing for a long time. I definitely want to say, and I believe this from the bottom of my heart, things don't end up wrong. They start out wrong. And I think people will get that later on. They don't end up wrong. They usually start out wrong. I think that it is very important, and I agree with my colleagues as well, but you can't pick and choose. You can't pick and choose who you extend grace and mercy to. You can't disregard anybody's opinion, because my opinion is just as important as yours. And yours is just as important as mine. I have to say, for me, it is refreshing to have a leader that's talking about education. It's refreshing to have a leader that honestly putting kids first. Like literally, in my opinion, putting kids first. Perfect? Absolutely not. But I have, in all of my conversations at this table, all of my conversations off record, all of my conversations at any time, the kids of Ben Harbor are at the forefront. And I think it's very uncomfortable for this community because we just have not had that. We've had all kind of campaigns, button children first, this and that and the other. When we look at this district, everything that we see, news media, everything, it's just adult issues. So it don't feel right. It's an unfamiliar spirit. And so everybody is learning and growing together. I encourage you. I'm going to say what I have to say. Don't mean no harm, because y'all get tickled a lot at this table when I'm talking, But I'm not tickled. I want the best for our kids, and that requires all of us to do what it is that we need to do to make sure that our kids get the best they deserve the very, very best. Thank you.
Vice President Bowens.
First off, let's give it our superintendent, did her virtual talk via Zoom. It's homecoming week and everything of that nature. So, go Tigers. One thing I want to say is when we talk about transition and growth, especially with Benton Harbor area schools, we're not just talking about change. We're talking about transformation. Transition is never easy, and it challenges us in our comfort zones, and it tests our patience, and it often requires us to confront our old habits and our old perspectives. And sometimes we're used to being the voice in the room. Sometimes it's important to make sure be slow to speak and listen, because sometimes when you're talking so much, you miss the other side. You don't listen. And it's okay to step back. Too often we let pride and personal things or egos get in the way. We got to ask each other and check ourselves when we're speaking. How does this sound? Does it sound like I'm aggressive? And treat people how we want to be treated. There's no big I. We're all grown. We all live in this community and we all want what's best for the community. We all want the investments that we just did today. And for the longest, we raised the bar, set the bar, and how does it go? Exceed the bar, however that mantra go. We went from GQ, we went from a teacher to a principal. Now we have someone that has the experience, that was a principal, a teacher, 5 master's degrees and a doctor's degree. I wholeheartedly support Dr. Griffin in everything that she's doing. And I just ask us to watch the board meetings, go home and watch the board meeting when it's uploaded and just see how sometimes we sound. And it may not be anything personal, but sometimes you have to check yourself because you may not know, is this how I sound? Is this what I'm doing? So God bless you all and God bless Benton Harbor area schools. Thank you.
I will keep it extremely brief. I would just ask that my wonderful leadership team of 8 would go back and reflect on the amazing board retreat with unity focus that we had 2 weeks ago, and all of the progress and the insights and the growth and the emotions that we felt in that moment. I think we need to recenter in that, because today has been a day with quite a bit included on the agenda. And I just want us to make sure that when we have difficult decisions to make, that we're centering in the best interests of our leadership group. I'm a person that's big on policy and legalities and clarifications and contracts and things of that nature. So I'm going to always make sure that I have a full understanding of what I am voting to invest the district's money in. And I feel as though that is my responsibility, as not only a trustee, but as the president of the board. And I'll always continue to do that. So I know sometimes I don't really ask certain questions, but I feel as though I have to ensure that I am digging completely into the contracts at the table and asking on the record so that we know exactly what it is that we're investing in at that time. So we have no confusion as a board later. So I appreciate you all in providing me with that patience today with the presentation. I appreciate each of you, all of our directors and the members of the public that came here to share your insights with us, because every voice that attends our meetings are valued. And I appreciate you all for your efforts and your due diligence given tonight. I know that we are all extremely drained. Each of us was tired before we got here. So I want us to keep that in mind, how we showed up, how that may have impacted our energy this evening, and then try to focus on bringing the positive, exciting energy back at our work session, because we were really kind of dragging through today. So I'm going to wrap it up. That's all I have to say. Is there a motion to adjourn?
I so move.
Is there a second or support? Support. The motion has been made by Secretary Triplett and supported by Vice President Bowens. Questions, comments, or concerns? Secretary Triplett, please call the vote.
President Robinson,
Yes.
Vice President Bowens, Secretary Triplett, yes. Trustee Rocket Martin, Trustee Gavin,
Yes.
Trustee Doyle,
Yes.
motion carried.